Boom, we are live Friday evening. What is up, everybody? Hope all is blessed. You know, it's a nice cold evening in Montreal. Snow, friggin' nipple deep. It's a good time. Hope everyone's staying safe, staying warm. This evening, folks, this is a big one. This is one we've been trying to organized for a while, but we finally made it happen. So what I'm going to do is just get right into it because I think people will be just wanting to hear what the fuck is going on. And it's 47. All right. What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 47 of Beer and Others, the podcast, Adjunct series, quarantine edition. This evening, folks, we have a brewery that was, funnily enough, we were supposed to have them on our previous series that we started previous season, even at the start of 2020, called Against the Grain. We had the podcast booked in, and that week happened to be the second week of lockdown. So obviously that didn't happen. We held off because we didn't know how long this was going to last, and being that it's almost a year, we figured that you know what, I think it's time we have these gentlemen on. So the brewery we have on tonight are essentially legends in the game already, only in a few short years here in Quebec. They literally changed the face of craft beer here. I'm sure they're going to be humble about it, but they goddamn well did. I'm just going to bring these champions on. We have also co-hosting with me this evening. He hasn't been on for a bit, and you guys have missed his pretty beard. Noah Forrest from Beerism, and we have Marc-André and Gabriel of Brasserie du Bas-Canada. Make some motherfucking noise. Yes, boys. Yes. We need the phone. How you doing, everybody? Thank you so much for hanging out.
How's it going?
Y'all good?
We're good.
Love it. Mate, I'm super stoked to finally have you guys on. It, like I said, didn't work out last year because of the pandemic, but you know what? We don't know how long this is going to be, so until we can get down there, I think this is the next best thing. So appreciate y'all. Noah, thank you for coming back again. It's always
Anytime.
lovely to see your face. So we're going to
Was it almost a year ago since you were going to be there?
It was, if I'm not mistaken, I have some sort of ridiculous date memory. I think it was like March 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the lockdown started on the 16th, Monday the 16th. So it was that following week. So we had two more podcasts booked. We had one that week, and then we had Bar Canada on like the Monday or something. And
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I think during that week we weren't really sure. It was like a lockdown. I'm like, oh, and I hit up Marc-André. I'm like, yo, dude, what do you think? He's like, yeah, we should can it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because it felt kind of weird. We was actually supposed to be in Toronto that weekend, too, for a wedding. We had a wedding. They canceled the wedding. So we were like, all right, these people canceling the wedding. So we're like, well, obviously, you know, no one knew really what was happening. So it was definitely for the best. So we kind of like had this season. I was super excited because we talked about you guys in that season a lot. It was called Against the Grain. The point was basically other breweries like you guys. We only had 6 breweries in total. And there were breweries who would, you know, had started off doing the haze and things like that in Quebec long before anyone else was. And you guys were referenced so often. The other brewery was Boreal, so I know you guys have worked with them and stuff, but like those two were canceled. And to be honest, I was extra pissed because it was, those 2 episodes were arguably the most important because it felt unfinished. Like it tied it all together. So I was like, you know, that's why I didn't follow back up. I was just like, you know, maybe by August it'll be done and we can come back or something. And then, you know, here we are close to a year later. So, you know, we were talking, Noah, obviously you've been mates with the boys for a while. So it made sense to just, you know, let's just get something on the boards, you know. With that in mind, we're going to start off with this bad boy, HYPA IX, or HYPA. I always call it HYPA. Is it weird when I say HYPA? I don't think
no, it's fine.
Both are accepted.
We call it HYPA.
Call it HYPA. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. So this is your rotating hop series IPA.
Glass,
You got the glass, yes. How many variants are there? Isn't it 12 or is it 10?
Actually, it's 11.
11. Okay. Perfect. So, do you guys?
And what's what hop variation is this one?
So this one is the double dry version with Citra and Vixicra.
Citra and Vixicra. Okay. Now, when you're saying double dry hopped, are they not all double dry hopped?
No, actually, the amount of hop like if you compare each version of it, it's really different. Like HYPA 9 versus HYPA 2, it's almost like the double of the amount of hop used in the recipe.
Okay.
So when we put on the label like double dry up, it's actually pretty close to the double like amount of hop than a regular version of one of our IPA.
Okay. Okay, dope. I didn't actually realize they were like that different. Is it essentially the same base recipe for all 11 of them?
No,
And no, it's different, eh? Okay.
it's different. It's different. But actually, it's a really good question because for some people feeling that it's all the version are a little bit the same beer, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not like it's not true, but it's not that false. It was
Okay.
a little bit more like want to work that series that there's a kind of a continuation in like all version, but it's all different base malt. Sometimes the water profile is different, and and also it as well. It's all different up combination. So
Yes.
yeah, there's some of the like kind of yeah, there's some common flavor and texture and all those beer, but they are also all very different, more different than people
Then
think.
people realize. That's really good to know.
Yeah,
That's that's really interesting too, because and I think it works really well for the market in the sense that if you were packaging these all completely different every time with different artwork and whatever, then people might think like, oh, their beers all taste the same, even though you
yeah,
are making changes. Whereas by taking this approach and keeping kind of a similar theme, like you said, but just changing the number, changing the hop profile, people are still willing to go out and try them all, but they're not going to be disappointed that, you know, two tastes a bit like four or whatever, because they're kind of expecting it to have a similar profile to a certain degree.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
a really
and
good point.
like by the way, yeah, and 2 and 4 are very far away. Like
Okay.
honestly, like
Oh.
as type of
But
beer, like I would say that there's like just say it easily, like there's EPA profile is more like on the dry side, a little bit like more place for hop to shine. There's some
mhm.
that it's like dry but a little bit like rounder and more fruity side,
Yeah.
and there's the one that are way rounder with the base malt with the is a golden promise or something rounder. So that's the people that think that they're drinking the same thing like from a IPA from another, they're if you have a like a tasting like between 2, 3, 2, 4, and 9, you'll see that it's different.
Interesting. Is that something that a
Yeah.
lot of people say? Like, do you get a bit of feedback from the the drinkers that people are saying that, or is it more just like false accusations that people are sort of throwing out there?
No, it's just we always like stuck with some details like that I heard someone in like I don't know Facebook or anything, and I see a post that oh iPods it's a little bit like all the same, so
Right.
always stuck with those little things, but it's like normal. It's just we we are not like looking at like accusation or stuff like that. And it's fine. People are drinking the beer, and if they have opinions and about the beer, it's really fine and it's good. It's good to have feedback also. But yeah, it's really interesting because, and I've seen a lot of those comments, and not about our IPAs necessarily, but about IPAs in general. That people feel that easy IPAs are a little bit like always the same thing with like different hops or different hop combinations in it, and it's true in a way, but it's also like false in a way. It depends a lot of the brewery signature behind the beer, but also
Mhm.
like it's not because like IPAs from a brewery taste like best example for me is like IPAs from Treehouse. For me, like IPAs from Treehouse. They have like a very, very like unique signature behind. Yes, they have like different type of hops, malt, maybe yeast and sometimes, but I taste Treehouse at the end of a can. It's like, so there's a lot of like opinion about it, and there's now a lot of people like who think that like you taste IPAs from Bas-Canada and it's all the same, or IPA from I don't know Three Arts or other apps. But for me, I like that signature of like the breweries behind the product.
That's a really good point. Funnily, you mentioned that. I got a bunch of beers from the States recently, from the Vale and from Trillium, and I was drinking them with my girlfriend the other night, and we had a whole bunch of haze, like back to back, and every single one was phenomenally different. Like, it was actually like surprising how different everything was. And like you were saying, Marc-André, that like say HYPA 2 and 4 are mad different. I bet if people lined up even just 3 or 4 from the HYPA series and actually tried them, they'd have the same experience, it sounds like. Like, everything is super, super... You see the variance.
Yeah,
And
but
it's also
what's important
like
is
you.
like
Go on, Mark.
but the most important about the people who think, even the people that think that it's the same beer, they say it's fucking great beer. So that's an important part of the thing.
Yeah.
People, they always enjoy the fucking beer, but
Yeah,
if they
man.
don't like, no matter what. I think like Gab told earlier, like we have our own signature and people are able to recognize it in our beer. So that's pretty cool actually.
Yeah, man. Noah, you were saying?
I don't remember.
Okay, you come back. Jacob from Sankiem is in there. Says, "What up, homies? Jacob in the building. You fucking legend. Another Gatineau champion. There was
Nice.
really something special happening up there.
What's up?
Loving everything.
Yeah,
That's
something in the water, eh?
It genuinely is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this beer is exceptional. This is like a tropical fruit punch. It's glorious. I've probably had 6 of them maybe, but I haven't had them side by side, so I don't recall. But this, I feel like the other ones didn't taste like this. It has a totally different body. It's a nice 6.5, which Noah and I always talk about. I love that between 6 and 7% money zone for IPAs. Like,
Yeah.
great creamy body, wicked, bursting bright nose. It's this is glorious, boys. It's fantastic. So let's here someone's saying Montreal Live is saying the Dryad. I don't know how to say that. The Dryad is the best beer I've ever had. Just incredibly difficult to get the beer in Montérégie.
Yeah, it's one of the best you guys done, I think, too.
Yeah,
Best double.
I think
Best double.
yeah, Dryad and probably Oceanid. As a double IPA is my 2 favorites.
Okay.
They're pretty good.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's dope, so people know. So let's get into both of your beer histories, because I actually don't really know, so I'm fascinated to hear more. Whoever wants to start, talk about how you got into beer, and then we can go to the other, and then we'll get into sort of how that led into the brewery itself. Whoever wants to start.
Sure. Okay, I'll start. So basically, Gab and I are friends from a long time, but we're also like home brewing partners. So that's where everything started.
Cool.
Starting like brewing at my apartment and brewing a lot of fucking styles and a lot of beer and big volumes and hosting some big parties and people literally like starting to pass to I would do like growler fillings and like people just wanted our beers and we knew we at a certain point that we had a certain talent and I worked in the hospitality industry like for all my life and I know how to sell alcohol and I just some of the thing I like the most in life is tasting wine beers and all different like whatever like spirits and stuff. So yeah, I think I just thought at a certain point that we were the best people like to start a project like that in Gatineau. So yeah, that's basically like how like the beer like started in the beer industry and also like just to be in love with like craft breweries. That's like going to Hill Farmstead, man, and having like the first AZ IPA, like it's like I don't know, like I just fell in love, and yeah.
I love it. So, Mark, you were brewing too, eh? So both of you were brewing together.
Yeah, I don't brew right now at the brewery. Actually,
Okay.
I'm not at all in the brewing process. Gab is the chef brewer, and we have also brewers at the brewery.
Okay.
But yeah, we used to be on brewers together at the beginning, and yeah, that's where everything started. But
that's so cool. Go on.
No, it's okay.
That's it. I was gonna ask, you said you guys were brewing a whole bunch of different styles when you were home brewing. Were you doing like haze and maybe pastries and some of the stuff that you guys are very well known for now? Were you doing that in the homebrew days?
Not quite, actually. When we go, Gab.
Yeah, it's funny because no, actually we're mostly like brewing like Belgian stuff,
right?
And yeah, we brew a lot of IPAs, but it was like before that they were like AZ IPAs at the time were like the Alchemist, Hill Farmstead.
Yeah.
It was a bit like it was not like filtered IPAs and like stuff or West Coast IPAs. It was like kind of the ancestors of AZ IPA, we know today. But actually, when we brew our first AZ IPAs, it was not as homebrew. It was like from like new recipe from scratch at the brewery. But some of the first batches reminds me our first homebrew batch of IPAs because it was a time that it was like the race for IBUs, and we just want the beer to taste so bitter and like kind of almost undrinkable, and we were like unable to achieve that goal because our beer was kind of easy and not bitter enough. It was like mostly on like, it was not like creamy like actual AZ IPA, but it was something like kind of close to it. And it was mostly because of like malt we were using and because we were not in control of many parts of the process, and also because of like water chemistry. So it was fun because we were brewing at some point like easy IPAs, but it was like not the goal. It was like at that point it was to do like bitter IPA with like a lot of IBUs and stuff like that. And we were brewing a bit of stout also, but it was, and although I think we've tried to do at one point stout
milk stout with coffee.
Like probably
that's the
milk stout with
Los
coffee
Tabernacles
was
was
the only
these
adjunct we tried. Yeah, we have tried to
Los Tabernacles.
Yeah, we have done like a kind of homebrew version of Love.
We kind of add like a milkshake IPA version, like.
Say that again, man.
Yeah, like the ancestor of Los Tabernacles was one of our last like homebrew brews we did, but yeah, at home it was mainly like a lot. It was like saison with like purees or like whatever hoppy saisons. At the end, we were putting some dregs, some fruit. But yeah, the adjuncts on the stouts it was with the brewery and it was way later. We did Gab and the production team did a lot of work and a lot of research because it's a new process. Like even like for the renowned even the breweries that brew that kind of beer, there's always like something new and a different way of extracting or like trying to source like better stuff, and so we're always improving.
Okay, that's fascinating because I didn't realize that that's how it started. Noah,
no,
you gonna say?
But actually,
when it comes
first
to,
like the.
Man, it's so funny. Whoever wants to go.
Not good, Noah.
I was just gonna say, I mean, and we'll obviously talk about it later when we drink the stout, but you guys essentially pioneered that style in the province, and I think to this day, no one's really come to the point where you are. At least from what I've tried, because you guys kind of started off with Garipé and then Substance, and then that kind of took off from there,
Yeah.
and then you've been consistently brewing these crazy pastries. And then I'd say like this year is when it really took off locally, where everybody's putting their hands in it. And I've had a few, and sometimes they're okay, but sometimes they're just not. They don't really work. So it's you guys have really not only pioneered that, but consistent are still way above everyone else, in my opinion. I had a couple from Masorum recently that were quite something. So I don't know if you like shared your magic knowledge with them, but
No,
they
they're
were
just trying
getting
to
that
copy
body,
us.
that's like
That's
a
all.
similar body that you guys. Jerks. But yeah, anyway, all this to say, I think it's crazy impressive how much you've not only pioneered that, but at this point, I'm kind of getting tired of imperial sweet stouts unless it's one of yours, and then I'm just ecstatic to to just dive right into it every time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's nice.
Yeah, man, it's I don't know. I think I've only ever tried this. I'm excited for this one. I've only ever tried it once, and it was a tasting that we did about a year ago at one of Noah's friend's house, and it was like I don't remember it. I was vomiting that night. It was too much, so I don't remember it. So I'm excited to try it. It wasn't cool at all. It was terrible. It was very bad.
I think you've tried Garipé though, no?
Looking at that, I think that was the only time
I think you did with Nate.
What, me and him had
I
it?
thought you had shared one with Nate or something.
Fuck.
I thought you had one with Nate once and thought it was Garipé, but I could be wrong.
And look, potentially you got a better memory than me, but I'm excited for that. So then, okay,
I wasn't even there.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get there. Gab, what was your beer history? I know you know more about what I'm drinking than I do. What is your beer history? Yeah,
that's interesting because actually my father was co-owner of one of the first craft brewery in Quebec. So it was a long time ago at the all the period after Unibrew started to be like popular, and they were like from that time there's still Bilboquet, ARG, Cheval Blanc, and stuff like that. So there were like 4 people. They started a brewery in I don't know if you know Petite Nation, but like all the area close of Montebello.
Okay.
They started a very small craft brewery in Saint-André-Avelin, and it was like all the period with all the people that were trying to do Belgian style and to distribute and like sold bottles and stuff like that. And I was like, during that period, I think I was like 10 to 12 years old. So I worked a bit at the brewery. Actually, I was doing like work on the bottle machine during the summer. And so it was like my first contact with the craft brewery. And like during my 20s, I was working on hospitality, and I started to have some kind of passion for wine, basically. So I studied the sommelier program, and I was working in the wine industry. I was working in restaurants and stuff like that. And at one point, because like most of people in wine industry are at one point tired to drink wine, I was drinking a lot of beer, and so I started to drink beer with Marc, and I was always like very interested about winemaking and all the process fermentation and stuff like that. And it was always a dream to have like a vineyard or to work more on the production side for wine. But like living in Gatineau, it's like wine, it's so about the climate and like it's in Quebec and Gatineau, we start to and like Ontario also we start to have like a little bit more wineries, but at that point we were like almost no people like having wine project and stuff like that. So we start to homebrew because like when you do like homebrew, you start with the same ingredient as like any breweries. So everyone start at the same point. So we decide that it was like interesting at least to try. So we start to homebrew. At first, it was like was a kit that you mix with water and you boil it, and after put some like dry yeast, and maybe you have a beer at the end. But after a couple of bats like that, we start to read about it and to try to improve our equipment and stuff like that. So basically, my story related to
Okay.
and beer in general.
That is dope. Thank you. So then, like Mark was saying before, you guys realized that it started to become popular. You guys are brewing stuff like the Belgian type of things and just interesting stuff. At what point or what happened to make you guys like look at each other and be like, "Yo, we should do this for real"? That's for either of you.
Two things. People literally like we would do like we would brew like 80 liters a fucking week. That's the first thing.
Okay.
And like at my apartment, like we brewed like almost 10,000 liters in 3 years. We were very
Jesus.
serious. Like honestly, even at
Right.
the beginning, we
Jeez.
were very, very, very serious
Yeah.
about our stuff. So yeah, that's how success happens. You just believe in your stuff and you promote it, and there's people around. They're like, "Hey man, we like your stuff. We want to drink it. Like, can you fill my growler?" And like, yeah, that's after a certain point. Like, I was working at Gainsborough, Gab also. We knew a lot of we knew certain brewers. We knew some beer geeks. We're always drinking beer, like tasting and stuff, visiting like Vermont and whatever, like the Montreal and beer destination, and like just we had a certain point. Like I think also our age, we're like mid-30s. We're like, hey, it's our chance. Like there will be no other chance. Like let's try it. Let's like at a certain point. I said to Gab, we have 1 year. Let's try for a year to start a brewery. If it's okay, we'll have a brewery. Otherwise, we'll just continue doing our stuff. And fortunately, it worked.
That's amazing. So obviously,
I think it's
no, it's fucking. That's the coolest shit. You're right, because you took it serious. You were consistent over time. You got better really fast, and then you rolled the dice. And like you said, you believed in yourself and you put your money up. I love it. That's the best story I can have here.
We were all in, man. I put all the fucking money I have in my life. I put it in the brewery, and same for Gab. And the rest we asked for people around us to help us start, and that's it. We were all in literally on our projects. That's how much we believe in our stuff. So
that's so cool.
It's amazing.
It's the only
we start to be like very good at asking money at people. Basically.
Become professionals. Like, come on, guys. I bet they're all pretty happy now, though, right?
Oh yeah.
They're doing doing well.
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
No one's stressed.
You guys are doing all right.
Did you say no one's stressed?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No one's stressed about getting paid back. So
yeah, right, man. And look, that's a beautiful story, particularly in beer, right, where it's not an industry that's known for money and shit.
We don't have money neither, man. We don't have rich parents. My mother did not give me a single dime, and same for Gab also. So they helped us in a certain point for support or whatever, but it was not their money, man, that financed the project.
That's great. I love it. You made it happen, man. So when did you open? I guess it was that 2018 or 17?
November 17, 2017.
All right, so we just passed the 3 years. Okay. And you chose Gatineau because at the time, this is something to actually touch on. We had A La Derive on recently and Sankiem. And from what we gathered, there wasn't, you guys were like, kind of what Noah said, like you guys really like did something completely new in the area. It had a couple of older style breweries, but when you guys came, it's like you took a risk on Gatineau. So, what made you want to open up in that region that wasn't known for beer?
That's a really good question, actually. I think the main reason is because we were living in Gatineau, but also because like Marc Mac's from the Gatineau. I'm not like technically from Gatineau, but I lived most of my life in Gatineau. But he left for Montreal. He come back at one point, and there was a lot of people from our generation who left Gatineau to study in Montreal, Quebec City, or other places. And we were probably all having the same opinion about Gatineau, that it's freaking lame and there's nothing there. So at one point we were like brewing beer and we were still complaining about there's nothing here. So I don't know, we probably like just decide that we might stop complaining and try to do something. Try to have like, if there's like not beer or not enough brewery here or not enough restaurant or not enough bar, might try to do something instead of like just saying that they get to know it's not nice or sexy, or I don't know. It's just like a little bit of like, yeah, a little bit of everything. And personally, I was, yeah, I left also in 2015 to work in BC. And at one point when I was in BC, I was talking with Marc about like be serious about the brewery. And at one point I decided, okay, I'll go back to Quebec and we'll work seriously about like having a business plan and like to start like a business and to be like a bit more focused about it.
Interesting. Okay, so it was a few years genuinely in the making. So you chose Gatineau. You were both there. Essentially, what you've turned it into, I guess, all the other breweries were crediting you guys as the sort of architects of the new Gatineau Renaissance type of thing, which is pretty dope. So when you opened, did you open with the type of beers that you were homebrewing, like the Belgian stuff, or what did that look like? Like, what kind of beers did you start with?
Yeah, it was like
it looked a little bit more of
both. Let's go ahead, Matt.
Like Gab said, it was a little bit of a mix, but it was closer, I would say, to what we do during the homebrew. But also, when you test an equipment at the beginning, you don't take too much risk. So there was no, like the four first breweries, there was no hops involved or that much, just in case we had to dump the stuff. So we were basically like just running our stuff and discovering a lot of things. So the 5 first beers were, even if there's beers we still continue to brew, we're more of on the pub style, less on the hoppy, and it improved. It like at a certain point, like I think it was like in March or April of 2018, we did a shift. Like, okay, fuck that, we're doing HYPA in Los Tabernacles, and that's what people want, and that's what we do good, and like it was like a major hop shift. Still continue to do like kind of sometimes classic style for the pub, but it was very, very hop forward. Like, and that's when things started like big time.
And so at the I remember when I first started seeing your guys' stuff popped up, you'd have, I think they were 500 ml bottles that didn't have labels, and you had like tags on them. And then it went from that, and I kept seeing like stuff on social media about like, hey, this Imperial Stout is really good. And then you guys were doing distro, but just the big crowlers. And I remember HYPA and Los Tabernacos, and you had some, like, you had artwork on the labels, but it was the same often the same label with just different writing on it. And I remember having HYPA 4 and Los Tabernacles for one of the first times, and being kind of floored by it, and it was kind of just the beginning of it all, I guess. At that point,
Do
it
you
was
remember,
really
Noah?
after that people really started noticing.
Yes, you're right. And now I totally forgot. We did a podcast with David Atman in 2018 in the summer.
Yes,
in like July.
we did.
And it was a huge deal because multi-hops got some crowlers. So we went to multi-hops and like, all right, let me get some. I got some for the podcast, some for me for later. And I never tried your stuff before. And I remember when I think it was HYPA 4, and there was a double
It was
IPA.
HYPA 4. It was a double, yeah.
And the double, it started with A. Do you remember a double IPA started with A, Mark?
Yeah, August.
I
It was
think
the first double IPA of the Imperial series. August.
Okay.
We
Amazing.
never did it on
there
473.
you
It was only in crawlers, yeah.
Okay, so that's what we had, and then I think we might have even had Los Tabernacles, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is ridiculous." And then I think not too long later you started, and then I met you at Furuni.
Fudrini.
Unique.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was taking a piss.
I
and then talking
I
to
was
you.
pouring beer for, yeah.
Yes, it was.
I was pouring beer for.
I kept going back to you to get homage.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good day.
Exactly. Yeah, you have a good memory. Yeah.
I specifically
it was
remember.
homage was the it was the big
Yes.
favorite.
That was a big one that day. Yeah, man, that was
And what a
go.
Oh man, what a fabulous event! Like,
Still
my
to
God.
this day,
It's
the
just
best,
such a
really
beautiful event. Oh man,
best beer festival I've ever been.
It really
to, man.
was.
incredible! Like honestly, everything very well organized. Good, everything was perfect, man. Honestly, like even I had the chance like to go to Florida and New York for like festivals and whatever a little bit in Quebec, and like Foudriny, it's just there's nothing like it. Like there's just I have the feeling like I don't know at what point they will be able to redo it, but like
Yeah, I don't know about this
such
summer.
an incredible, yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be August last year. Obviously, it didn't happen. Are we gonna do the Ferme Moore? Yes.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
we
perfect.
do
And
for
so
more,
is
man.
this gentleman or
Yes,
lady.
Electronic Dance Muse says, "Hey Bar Canada, I'm drinking your Ferme Moore right now. So many hops, including the Sylvain. So good and fresh. Well, isn't that convenient? Ben, do you mind grabbing the one that Mark has in his hand? You can see Ferme Moore. Thank you so much. Oh, there. Yeah, that's true. So Mark, tell us about this bad boy. This is a double, yeah?
Yeah,
No,
no,
this is a
actually, no, it's
regular.
an IPA.
Oh, sick.
It's 0.5 IPA with, yeah. So like just my tasting like notes, I would say it's super dank. Like it's a Nelson Sauvin on top. Like that's the first thing I smell. Like that's what's going on right now. Like Nelson Sauvin is there, so it's dank and fruity, more on the dry side of our IPAs than on the round side. Super good, man. The smell is incredible.
Oh,
Super dank.
Oof.
that
Tobacco,
dank.
like, oh man, it's good.
Oh yeah. This is great. I thought it was a double. I was like, oh, we're gonna get fucked up tonight, but okay, this is much better. Tell us about.
You're still getting fucked up, but yeah.
Bit slower. That's all that matters. Tell us about this name. I'll put it this way. This has got a pretty dope. This label is cool, man. This artwork is fantastic. I love the lettering. Like, tell us about this. Is this from a series?
It's a regional thing, I think, right?
Okay.
That's exactly. Exactly. Ferme Moore, actually, it's a NCC. It's a NCC building and land that had previous projects going on, but it's such like it's basically an all like to hang out. Like it's a farm, like it's agriculture, and you see on one side Ottawa, and just like people basically today, like they just pass by it, like there's nothing going on. And by the way, the artwork is done by Alex Mercier, which is our art director and does most of our label. And the photography is from Lévi Elmarty, which is a incredible like video artist, and he does a lot of photography also. And yeah, Ferme Moore basically it's like we at a certain point, Gab and I and some other people were like pitching to try to literally like exploit the Moore farm, like wanted to do a kind of like tap room,
That's
fermentarium
cool.
slash yeah, and it kind of, when we met the people at the NCC, we seen that it was more complicated than we thought. But yeah, like all this line of beer, Ferme Moore, Bank Hotel, Standish Hall, it's like it's part of our like heritage in Outaouais. It's either like building that used to have like a lot of activity, like as for Standish Hall, it used to be an hotel and also a jazz theater. And Chicago used to be a very famous bar, which was one of our customer also at a certain point. And it's like the nickname of the Vieux is Petit Chicago.
Okay.
And yeah, so and Bank Hotel is one of it's a very famous bar that closed. I think in 2006. Yeah, right. 2003.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hey, sorry guys, I'll have
Early
to
2000.
Switch computer.
That's okay. Just call back. Same number. Same
Yeah,
link.
no worries.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
No problem
Sorry,
at all, dude.
guys.
Nah, you're fine, man. Okay, so it's a cool.
And
But
speaking
yeah,
of
like
Bank Hotel, I
Go.
was gonna say, speaking of Bank Hotel, that's the beer that introduced me to Sabro, right? You guys are like always right on the cusp of the trends. That Sabro kick, and to this day, it's probably my favorite beer that has Sabro in it. It's so luscious and big, and fruity. Anyway, go on. Sorry, you're talking.
But yeah, like you speaking about Sabro, there's a lot of brewers, like some of our friends that like they hate Sabro, and there are a lot of hopheads that don't like the coconutty or like the Sabro.
Yeah.
But in our Bank Hotel, it's just like, well, like it's married with Citra. So Bank Hotel, I think actually, sorry, Sabro
works
needs to have
so
like a
well.
more juicy fruit forward hop to go with it, and it's just incredible. It's silky, like it's so you almost believe like it's like gives sweetness to the beer. Like I don't know, it's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Bank Hotel, we brew it
Yeah.
like every 6 to 8 weeks, so we're pretty happy that it's kind of like yeah, it's like I would say like a milestone beer at a certain point. Like people want it, and we'll be able to brew it like every 6 or 8 weeks. So that's basically like the kind of idea behind that line of products. And it's different profile from HYPA, also more like on the dry side. And we do a lot of like different combination, or like as example for like Chicago is like it's a Citra, but like in three, like in Creo and in pellet and in incognito. So yeah, we try different hops and different in different
Like combinations.
anyways.
Yeah.
Not combination, but like in the because the hops in
formats.
3 different
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
For this one,
So,
you've
yeah.
got El Dorado, Nelson Sauvin, Amarillo, Moteca, and Enigma. Are any of these cryo or are they pellets? What's the hops in this one? This is exceptional.
Yeah, it really is.
Is this pellets or is this cryo? What's in this one?
Yeah, it's all pellets.
All pellets. Okay.
Yeah. We are not using a lot of cryo hops.
What do you think about them?
Using it's like every like new hop product. There's like also incognito. There's always like some CO2 extract and stuff like that. It's good tools, but for me, I always prefer to have like the feel of the hops from the pellets.
Okay.
Like older brewer may have like the same feeling about like you using leaf or stuff like that, which is today like very not really usual, but it was like a couple of years ago. I don't know. It's just the way I used to work with hops. But I feel like that cryo, incognito, and like all those new products are super useful, especially when we try to build like layers of flavor to do like an IPA or double IPA using only like one varietals, like doing like Pitch Chicago, it's only Citra, but we are using pellets, cryo, and also incognito in it, and it's all give different like it's all Citra, but it's all different like layers of flavor. It's not exactly the same thing. Like incognito doesn't taste like pellet, and
Right.
same thing with cryo. So
Okay.
give more complexity.
What's interesting, I've heard that a lot of these new hopping techniques are to reduce some of the vegetal flavors that you can get and stuff like that. But I've never gotten anything like that in any of your beers. And that's another question I wanted to ask, and what you guys' opinion is on this, and why your beers don't ever seem to be this way. But talking about like greenness or sharpness in New
Yeah.
England IPAs,
Yeah.
a lot of the newer breweries have go down that route, right? Where it's, you take a sip and
Yeah.
it's literally burning the back of your throat. And there's a desire
Yeah.
for that for some consumers, and
Mhm.
some people like it more than others. Sometimes it's nice to have just like a hint of that burns, like to it almost gives it like, it almost replaces what the bitterness used to do a little bit. If the beer's quite sweet, a little bit of burn can kind of balance it. But you're like, even when you guys really got into the double dry hop kind of world now, none of your beers have a particularly green profile, while they still have that
Mhm.
brightness and sharpness that you might want. So I'm just curious what you guys' thoughts are on that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, I spent basically the last year thinking about it because, yeah, it's interesting. First, it depends a lot of like how you define, which is like green or vegetal, like component
Yeah.
coming from the hops. Like hops is a vegetal, so it's
Mhm.
normal. It imparts some kind of, I don't know, some like green or like vegetal character to a beer. It's like, for me, it's a normal thing. Um, like the fruit or like all other aspect you or other type of flavor you can extract from hops. For me, it define a bit more like the varietals of it. Like for me, Citra, it tastes like a wide range of flavor. It can be like citrus, mango, orange peel, cat pea, lychee, depending of like crops, depending of like supplier, depending of a lot of things. So it's an like it's a product come from agriculture. So it's not always like the hops doesn't taste always the same year from year, depending also of farm of supplier. But like personally, I'm not a huge fan of like upburn character. I love like some kind of greenness from hops, especially like there's some type of ops who's it's basically like a signature. Like for me, like I don't know, Nelson Sauvin or like Simcoe or Amarillo. They have all some kind of like green flavor, which
Almost
is
like a
like
dank
very
flavor, like.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I love that component. And honestly, I'm not
Me
a
too.
huge fan of like upburn. For me, it's like and we of our beer have some kind of upburn at one point, like especially like double or triple IPAs when they are like fresh from the canning lines. Sometimes it's hot, honestly. but
Yeah.
it's why I prefer to drink our beer at maybe like week 2 or 3, like 2 to 4. Actually, for me, it's like the best. But it's
week
it's
2.
an interesting topic because it's week 2. It's
Week 2.
pretty good for me.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's not like a double or triple IPAs. Like there's a lot of people who like the collab we've made with Messorem called Tap Room for our anniversary release. And actually, yes, I have still some can of that collab, and I've drank one I think last week, and for me it was like a really, really nice triple IPA now, and I was having a lot of fun to drink it. But it was brewed in November. Usually, we don't recommend people to drink our beer that old. But when we canned the beer, I was sitting with Marc-André, and I was like, "Oh man, that beer so green at first." It was good, but for me it was like too much. And also the other factor is because of the COVID, we don't do kegs anymore. So we are canning like all the tank, and like there's always like some kind of threshold, or maybe like the last 2 to 5 case of can, they can be a bit more like charge and up component than the first maybe 100 case of can with can. So because usually we are canning the first part of the tank, and we are doing keg with the rest. And with kegs it's easy because we put it on tap. So if a keg is like too green or weird or stuff like that, we just discard it. But with cans, when we canning a full tank, it's like super tricky, especially with like IPAs, and we are brewing like 95% of our production is IPAs. So it's a tough part. Sometimes I had comments from customers, like they were tasting a beer, and they were saying like, and I drink a can, and it was good, but there's some like upburn, and I was like super surprised because I've tasted like the same beer directly from the canning line, and for me it was like super smooth, super creamy, like very fruit forward. And for them, they were like, it's good, but it's like there's more like upburn than usual from you guys. So I was like a little bit like, okay, it's possible, but it's like it's the same beer, like in the same tank. But at one point, I realized that there's some point of the canning that we might have a bit more like up component than we usually have before we close the tap room.
Right. That's interesting. That's an interesting problem that probably people don't talk about with New England IPAs.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, and also it's like the way you raise the issue, Noah, I think it's very interesting because for some people, like upburn, it's almost like a quality. It's not like people expect it from like IPAs, and also it's interesting because at first, like easy IPAs, people were expecting like very soft beer with like a lot of fruit flavor, and sometimes like a lot of time people were criticizing it because they were like, oh, it's just like orange juice. And now today, for like, it's not a new wave of people. I think it's just like different way to appreciate or to like a different type of liking of IPAs. But some people like it like when they got the upper of it.
Actually quite nice.
It's really interesting. It's like IPAs. It's always for me like a style who's not like there's always like some evolution. It's always like moving. were like one era. It was like the IBU race. After you got some
Yep. Now it's
Vermont
hop burn race.
like ancestor to AZ IPAs. Maybe I don't know.
You
I don't
forgot
know.
the brute IPA,
I
Gab.
know like people, and I
Oh yes.
You guys started that shit,
I
by the
talk
way.
about like a real era, a real trend of it.
You guys did
Brute
the
IPA
first
is like
one.
black IPAs.
Yours was great,
Yeah.
man.
Yo, yours was the first one I ever had.
Yeah,
And you guys were fucking genius,
It
by
was
the way.
fucking good.
I got a bunch of questions and comments I want to bring up in a sec because people are asking questions. But the
Yeah.
Girard Como one, it was genius. The name, it's fucking brilliant. For people
Yeah.
who don't know, look him up.
Yeah, I love that.
The fact it was a collab with Flora
Yeah.
Hall, and there was the Crowler on your side
Yeah.
and the Flora Hall on the other side. That whole thing was
Yeah.
so cool because, just like Noah said, it's like you guys are always on the precipice of the trends. You guys are like the bleeding edge, as they say. Like you guys were doing that shit before anybody else. And at the time, it was one of the first beer styles. I know we kind of make fun of it because it didn't last, but it was one of the first beer styles that, since I've been into beer, it's been a decade, but I've never seen a style come out of the blue. Like New England's, we didn't really see it here in Canada, right? We were really late, but the whole world saw the brewed IPA happen at the same time. So like all of a sudden, everyone's talking about this beer. Nobody I ever met. I went to San Francisco a couple of years ago, and I messaged the brewery, the social brewery who invented it, and they didn't have it. I was like, yo, do you have the brewed IPA? I'm gonna come by. I was so excited, and they didn't fucking have it. I was like, I don't know a single person who's tried the original brewed IPA, so no one even knows what it's supposed to taste like. That's the funniest thing to me.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
It's a pyramidal industry, man. I don't know why. It's like it's like Herbalife, man.
Herbalife. Brewed IPA is Herbalife.
yeah.
It's just cool that you guys
But
were.
brewed IPA was
Go.
Yeah, brewed IPA was really like a brewer thing, basically, because it was involving to have like super, I don't know, super dry, crisp beer, and also it was involving a lot of like kind of a technical twist to do it, because we had to use enzyme to have the beer to dry like the driest as possible. And it was really like a brewer trend, basically. And it's really interesting because, like, I don't know, there's probably like a couple of breweries still bring brewed IPA, but it was like a super fast wave.
Yeah.
At one point, everyone tried to do one,
Yeah.
and like nobody almost brewed it again. Like. Nobody I've tried to do like a second trial of it, so everyone was like, "Oh, we've brewed IPA," and like a month after, like brewed IPA. What was that style again?
Yeah,
it was like super fast, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It was the fastest coming.
My Sutton collab still gets brewed.
The one with Sutton. What was it called again?
It's still. Brett Never Sleeps.
Brett Never Sleeps.
That one's still going, still
Brett
brewing
Never
it.
Sleep.
Yeah.
But also it's interesting because it's a good beer, and it's not like I'll say like a classical brewed IPA because there's like bread involved in it, and it's
exactly.
It's not really like a real brewed IPA is, but. Yeah, it's not. It wasn't like follow like the official guideline of the style, but probably why it's.
No,
so
we just
brewed.
basically we did use he does use the enzymes in it though.
Right.
But we just picked we just picked the hop profile, and he did a little bit of research on it, but he got the. I remember pouring the enzymes in. It was weird. It's like it comes from mushrooms, right? A lot of them. It's like an organic based thing that just eats all the sugar
amylase or something, isn't it?
traditional. Well, it actually kind of, not to get into the whole story of it, but it basically started because I was reading about it. It had just happened, and then I messaged him. I was like, here's an article about this new style. It would probably be something fun for you to do because you brew exclusively with Brett. Brett attenuates beer so much, so like you're basically kind of doing this anyway. It might be a fun thing to explore. And so he's like, hey, come on down, we'll do it together. And that's how it kind of got birthed from there. But I had that one, and
Yeah,
then
everyone read about it.
Obviously, I did that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We all read about it at the exact same time, and then everyone did it at the same time. And then
Everyone read about it and tried to do a declination of what they read about, and like
Yeah.
it was mostly it was not that good, but it's still drinkable, but it's not redoable.
So we're not going to see a Bar-Canada brewed IPA ever again, eh? That's
I'll
a no-
let Gab answer the question.
I think I know the answer. on that note, we got a bunch of comments and questions here. My boy Daniel out in BC's checking in. He's a great conversation. Love that all-in approach from earlier. Apartment brewing for the win. Daniel is an avid home brewer as well. So Dan, I want to see you start a brewery, mate.
Nice.
Electronic Dance Muse says, have you been using Riwaka for a long time? I'm tasting a Timber right now. Wow, you're like drinking all the same shit we are tonight. And I've only seen this hop at Hill Farmstead so far. Do you guys use Riwaka, or how long have you been using it for?
First beer we've made with using Riwaka was the Jonction at our anniversary release in November. It was a collab with Sir John. So it was the first beer we made with using Riwaka. And actually, honestly, to be honest, I've only tasted 2 beers with Riwaka before using it. It was like a beer from Hill Farmstead. I don't remember the name of the IPA, but I think it was brewed with probably like another hops, but I'm not sure. I think it was maybe like Nelson and Amarillo or something like that.
Okay.
And I find it like really interesting. And I also taste a beer from Badlands using Riwaka, but it was like the only 2 beers I've tried before using it. I like I find the profile interesting, but also it was maybe because it's super hard to find it. So
yeah,
I was like, I'll try to find it and to maybe like have a couple of kilos of it and try to make beer.
Right.
And it's always a thing. You've seen like new hops, and that hops is super hard to find. So you want to find it, but I don't know.
So if you get it, you use it. Noah, what beer is that?
I love it actually.
It's a great hop. Is this the beer that?
That's the
Junction
one that he was
such a
just
great-
talking about.
That's a
So
sick
that's
label.
the collab with
The Sir John from the anniversary.
Sir John, right?
Yeah.
So it was Nelson Sylvain and Riwaka.
That's a beautiful label. I love that. That's a great.
Yeah.
It's the best Sir John beer, I think.
It wasn't too green.
Yeah. Yeah, so John loves
So far.
Yeah. Savage. Daniel is saying, love a good NEIPA, but hate the hop burn. How can I get these beers out in BC? Have you guys ever done any
Moved
exports?
to Montreal.
Have you? He used to live in
Actually,
Montreal.
we have a business. There's someone in BC that really wants to import our beer, but
Is that Untapped?
Sorry?
Untapped, that agency called Untapped, who are doing a lot of importing out here?
No, actually, it's a BC. Anyways, West Craft Beer Co. Something like that. Yeah, West Craft. Anyways, the guy's super nice, but it's just our beer. Like we sell it in a couple of minutes, so it's not worth it right now to do an importation of there. But it will possibly be our first. Beside like what we did last year in Ontario, which was our first importation at a certain point.
Okay.
BC will possibly be our next one, like once we'll have the other facility, and it's probably like somewhere fall or winter, we'll probably do so BC fans, one day.
We'll get there. Dan, we'll talk. I'll see what I can do for you. Stefan is in the building. Shouts to Steph. Says IPA or death. He's a big fan. He loves it. You should get some Canada, bro. And Electronic Dance Muse says DDH Oat Cream IPA is a nice style. In my opinion, better than Milkshake IPA. I guess that's in response to the Brute IPA conversation. Have you guys done oat cream at all? Or is it just like the Los Tabernacles with the milkshake?
No, we have done oat cream. We've done a collab with Gallicus.
Nice.
And yeah, it was oat cream IPA. But honestly, difference between milkshake IPAs and oat cream,
it's just vanilla.
Vanilla. But most of our milkshake IPA like having vanilla in it. So for me, like
exactly, it's all coconut.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of coconut,
which I prefer.
The coconut is really
me too.
Your
Your
milkshake IPA is my favorite because it doesn't have vanilla, and it was one of the ones that kind of the style a little bit. I mean, I don't despise vanilla, but I find it gives even when it's not artificial, sometimes I find it gives an artificial taste. Whereas I'm just a sucker for coconut. I just fucking love coconut and food and everything. Yeah. So that's why Los Tabernacles was always a favorite of mine, because it gives that sweetness from the lactose and that other sweetness from the coconut. But it all works, and you don't get that vanilla thing as much. I know we've done versions of it with vanilla as well, but I always prefer the coconut.
I feel you.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Speaking of the lactose, but we don't really care about it like we used to. But we had a whole thing about lactose a year or two ago. It's still going.
Yeah,
the team lactose.
It was
that was fun.
Yeah, it was at the same era than Brute IPA.
It fucking was. It so was.
It really was.
Yo, I wanted to.
It's so 2019.
It's so 2000. I said that to someone the other day. It's all about smoothie sours now. I wanted to ask you, did the Team Lactose inspire your lactose T-shirt with the with the pocket, or was that completely separate? I was always curious if it inspired it.
Man, I'm not the good person to answer that, because Marc-André is more the like merch guy or stuff like that. But
okay,
yeah, but actually, it's okay. So I'll give you like another answer close to your question, but we brew a lot with like lactose, like in general, but also as home brewer, I've tried a lot of like different stuff with lactose, and I think one time we brew like something like a wheat beer with lactose in it, just for fun.
Was it good?
But yeah. Honestly, lactose, it's like I personally, like, I don't understand why lactose is so like
controversial.
Yeah, controversial. It's not really sweet. Like, if you taste lactose, it's like, I don't know, maybe like 20% like of the sweetness of like corn sugar, and it's like, it's mostly like, it doesn't taste anything. So when I see like people like doing like a beer description, or like putting like, I don't know, I was about to say like some beer description on tap, but nobody give any description on it. But I also rate beer, and write like some stuff about a beer with lactose and say they taste lactose. Lactose doesn't taste anything. It's like super bland. It's sweet, but not really. It's mostly I see it like as a tool just to balance the body and like the texture of the beer. But lactose doesn't taste anything. It's like, I don't know. It's like if you it's probably like the blandest thing in a beer recipe. Like water, it tastes something because of the mineral component. I'm not sure it tastes like, even if you want to try shit tons of puree in it, it will always taste a bit, the malt. And hops, it give like some bitterness, like vegetable component or something like that. But lactose doesn't taste anything.
That makes sense. I feel like you can almost feel it rather than taste it. So that means
Yeah.
Maybe you
Bar-Canada,
feel it.
Thing.
you feel it. Are you guys team lactose then? I would imagine the answer is yes.
Well, they're definitely team lactose.
Oh,
They
for
created
sure, I'm team
T-shirts with lactose on it.
So, Marc-André, I have a question
Yeah.
for you, bro. We were just talking about lactose when you were gone there, and how it's so 2019 because the lactose, we did the team lactose stupid shit, and that came around the time of the brewed IPA, so we were making fun of it. When you guys did that awesome T-shirt that had the lactose patch on it, was that inspired? I was always curious. Was that because it came about the same time? Was it inspired by the team lactose shit, or was it just a coincidence? I was always curious. Oh, I can't hear you. You're mute. You might be on mute.
Sorry, I thought I was on Zoom. That's why I was on mute. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, guys.
That's
But
okay.
anyways, like the all lactose story, like the shirt, it's because we have a mascot at the brewery that is called Nathan, which is the name of one of our stouts also, which is the rhinoceros. And I don't know, like there's a night I'm like, man, lactose and Lacoste is the same fucking letters.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's where the T-shirt idea came.
Okay, so it was
It
coincidence.
was because of Nathan, which is our rhinoceros, like it's our mascot at a certain point. So,
Okay.
but yeah, lactose.
So
It's
nice.
we just
Sexy.
I keep this on my desk.
Yeah.
so we basically just
So
do
thanks.
Imperial Stout to sell T-shirt. That's the only reason.
Are you still selling the lactose
Yeah.
T-shirt? Is that still around or that's gone?
No.
It's gone.
No.
I fucked up.
I still got
it's
mine.
why it's why next stout will be without any lactose in it.
God damn it. Speaking of the stout, is it stout? It looks like it's stout time. It's stout time?
It's the.
Yeah,
I'm
I
already
think
there.
this-
Sorry, guys.
I know. You ain't fucking around. When you get a moment, could you go to the fridge, pull out behind the water as a crowler? Thank you so much. So, this
It's a lot of
particular,
lactose.
it's a lot of lactose, and that's what the fuck I'm talking about. So this beer, boys, is this the first? Mark, you called it a baby stout, a baby pastry stout when you were telling me about it. Is
Like I
No,
cannot.
they've done a
Yeah,
few.
let's stay with baby stout. Let's stay with baby stout.
baby stout? Okay, and it's baby because it's 7% as opposed to 10 or 12 or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
Gorgeous. So this is a 950. I don't know. This feels just really big to me. I like it. So tell us about this one. It's called First Bucket, which is hilarious. It just seems like a funny name. It's a sweet stout with lactose, coffee, coconut, and Madagascar vanilla.
Actually, it's a. First of all, we have to say it's a collab with our brown bag partners for the coffee.
Nice.
So that's sorry that they're in Elmer, so they're in the area. So
Yes.
that's the first thing I will say. As for the first bucket explanation, I'll let Gab answer that.
Talk about
He's the head behind that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, it's basically super simple. The way we incorporate like adjunct and stout, we're using a separate tank,
Okay.
and we are using a pump system to have the beer recirculate on top of the ingredient during like it depends on the ingredient of the stout. In that case, it's like 2 days recirculation.
Okay.
But the way we have to set up the system, we always lost like plus or minus a bucket of beer at the beginning, just to have like all the system full of beer to have like a good recirculation, to don't have any like CO2 pocket in it, and that at one point it like the pressure will be like fucked up and the recirculation would just stop. So we always lost that bucket, and I call it the first bucket. And also it's because it's like a big concentrate of like all junk flavor in it. So
Right.
that bucket is always, there's always piece of coconut in it, and it's usually like the aromas of that bucket is super nice. So I call it the first bucket, and we decide to call it that way because I was the only one coming with the name for the
With
beer.
that, no one was helping you.
That's and actually that's always an issue because I'm not a good person to find a name for beer.
Right.
Mark's not that good too. So usually we have like all our artists who've done like all the very nice label and regular can. Most of the name of the beer are from the artists behind the
Really?
label.
So they come up with the.
Yeah, most. Yeah,
No
they
shit.
they have.
I would never have picked that.
They coming up with a name, and sometimes we change it because there's like always a brewery in Quebec using that name, but
Okay.
most of the time it's their ID basically.
That's crazy. So even like
I mean,
this,
and that kind of makes sense though.
I guess it
Right.
kind of does, but I feel that no, sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off. No, even like the cool series where you've got all the what's the one like Neron and stuff, like all the gods and stuff, like even that. Were they?
No, that's a different issue actually. Like the series, that particular series, it was because Gab and I were like, we weren't able to find like fucking names for beers. And we're like, okay, let's do like a series and let's do it on like monumental like places and places that are dead, but they are part of like the history of the area.
Okay.
So the first one I think was Standish Hall, which
Yeah.
is the name of the band of Alex, which is our art director, and is a very famous jazz parlor like back in the day, like in the
Okay.
20s. I think Louis Armstrong went to play there. I think so, or something like that. Like
Yeah.
it's very very famous place. And afterwards we
Yeah,
did Bank
I think-
Hotel because Bank Hotel.
Yeah.
Did I? Is it my? I'm not sure.
No, you're good.
So
Go for
yeah, when we did Bank Hotel was like, it's such a reference in the area. Like it's basically like the people and the public servants pub, like from the very old place. But like when it stopped, it was like a big deal. Like when they closed, like it was like almost like unconceivable.
Yeah.
Like it's a institution, like kind of, and it's not a bank,
Yeah.
and it's not an hotel, but
Okay.
it's yeah, it's a very like famous place.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I
I
didn't
was
think
drinking beer at that place.
Right. So there's got a bit of a history.
Oh yeah.
Just to step back for a moment and just talk about what we're drinking.
Yeah, please.
It's great.
Go, go.
This is a bit different from what you guys usually do. Well, not you've definitely two, if not three, that I can recall, 6 to 7% kind of sweet stouts. This one seems a bit different though. It almost seems more. The body is still there, but it's not quite as. I don't know. It's a bit more like, for lack of a better term, crushable. Like it's.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the coffee's really nice because it's not
subtle.
It's not in your face. The coconut almost is more present than the coffee. But as usual, like the way that you incorporate the adjuncts and then the body. And one nice thing about this is your head retention on this is better than usual too. Like you really have like a nice fluff going on here. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is really
It's a really good description. I don't know why is our head retention's better on this one, but yeah, it is quite better than usual because when we are using coconut and part so much
The
oil,
oil,
to,
right?
to the beer. Yeah, so that's especially with like barrel aged beer. Barrel aged beer, like probably like the protein content is already like a bit like break because of the aging and stuff like that. So usually it doesn't have like a lot of add, but add coconut to it, it's like there's just nothing. Like
Yeah.
substance barrel aged, there's
Yeah.
like nothing. There's no add at all. But on this one, it's interesting, and also the way it is like persistent. But actually, I
Yeah.
love it. I think for me, that's the we haven't made a lot of like kind of small adjunct stout,
Mm.
but
hmm
I think that's our best for me. There's still
would agree.
body. It's not like the body is maybe a bit thinner than toxicity, but also
Yeah.
incorporating coffee in the beer tend to like give the impression the beer is a bit thinner or drier. So for me, the body is a little bit on par with toxicity, but I think in terms of flavor, is really interesting. The ways coffee is popping up, it's just like there's no like green or bell pepper component that
hmm
I don't like about coffee. It's just like the kind of for me like the pure flavor of coffee. You got a bit of in that case roastiness. You got some caramel to it, but also a bit of like
Chocolate.
fruit component. Yeah, some chocolate, but
hmm
also like
Chocolate
kind of
machine.
almost like cherry pit, but not like in terms
Yeah.
of cinnamon quality, but maybe like almost like fresh cherry. And like
Yeah.
I like coffee, but I'm really like picky about coffee and stout. I think like yeah, I don't like the green character and like bell pepper kind of coffee stout. I don't like it, but like I like coffee, and it's why in that case it's the same adjunct as Interstellar we released a couple months ago. And for
Yeah.
Interstellar, I decided to use Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee,
Ooh.
even if it's like crazy expensive, because there's like no bitterness, no acidity. It's just like the coffee itself, it's just nuts and chocolate. You only taste like
It's
bit of
hilarious. I have
coconut,
all these
Oh,
bottles
coffee,
next to me for
chocolate.
some
come it's
reason.
not in
Yeah,
the fridge. Noah, it's supposed to be in the fridge, huh, by the way.
Come on, bro.
Oh,
yeah,
it's empty.
Oh,
Oh, it's done.
boo.
Oh,
it's
that's
empty.
why. Here we go. Here we
Yeah,
go.
they're all
Yeah,
empty. Yeah,
Here we
no,
go.
these aren't. I just
Decorative bottles.
this is
yeah.
my desk and these bottles are pretty, so I just leave them next to me to look at while I work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
honestly think it's very.
Go on, bro.
I honestly think it's very like from like the baby stouts we did. It's different. I think it's the one that is the most sweet. I have the feeling it's the most thick one we did.
Mm.
I can feel like the acidity from the coffee, and I think honestly it's very
Yeah.
coffee forward. Like it's the main besides like the sweetness of the beer and it's chocolatey. It's like super like coffee forward. That I don't know. It's the way I feel it. But I'm very happy of that release. It's very different from the other ones we did, and I think it's the beer that like the coffee like takes the most place and is the most well used from my point of view
Mm.
from what we did so far.
I love it. No, this is fire, man.
It's
Like,
lovely.
yeah, this is like you're right. It's not like overly sweet because pastries are great, but I feel like I always need just a little bit of it. But this, like Noah was saying, I don't want to say crushable about a 7% beer, but like I feel like you could easily drink this whole crowler to yourself over a night, and it's not,
Yeah.
Easy.
it's and it's not a problem, and you won't wake up hungover because of all the sugar in it because it's only 7%. all the different, and I bet
You still might.
I mean, probably a little bit, but like overall, the the adjuncts are sitting really nicely. Like everything's together. I feel like as it warms, it'll come out a little more. The nose is exceptional. The body is amazing for 7%. Like fuck, man, this is really good. Even just like the lacing, if you kind of go like that on the glass and then sort of let it go, like you can't really see, but like the way it's coming down is just sexy. Like it's super dope.
Like, you smell it.
It's interesting because the coconut
pure,
is
pure,
so
pure
intense, but like the oils don't seem to be affecting that head at all.
I've noticed that a
Yeah,
lot. I know exactly
true.
what you're talking about when you're saying the barrel-aged substance. Like I've had so many coconut pastries that are just completely, and they just got that oil on the top. And to be honest, I get it. It happens, but I don't know. It's not super attractive to me. I think this is like by far the pastry stout that I've had with the largest head. Like that shit was like a solid like 2 centimeters right there. It was super impressive, man, that you guys have been able to do that.
Yeah, and it's not like sometimes you get like an some kind of very fluffy, massive head on a stout, and it's because it's really like there's a lot of carbonatation behind it, and usually it's too much. And this one, the carb is actually a bit lighter than we usually do on a on a stout we put in can. So the carb is a bit more than usual, and still the head and the texture in general is there. There's almost like no fizz for me in my glass now. There's almost nothing. There's just enough to have like some kind of head and to have like enough mouthfeel and everything. But yeah,
but that's just enough.
Yeah.
Electronic Dance Music saying, I remember drinking your substance at King Hole in Sherbrooke Untapped. I still pray to God today for it. Same taste. I don't know what that means by same taste. Does that mean, does it? Oh, is it similar to this?
You're
Maybe
asking if this
is similar. Is this similar to Substance?
Yeah.
Would you guys say?
No.
I would say this is like a little bit like a baby sister to maybe Guerépé or something like that. But even then, there was no. Was there coconut in Guerépé?
No,
eh?
there were
Coffee.
like coconut, vanilla, and coffee.
Okay,
Yeah.
so similar, but just no coconut. I mean, yeah, no coconut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiff
Yeah,
is
I don't think it's similar to Substance.
Okay.
No.
Tiff is repping for Jamaica.
But it is
Go on.
a Bas-Canada stout. So in that way, it's similar to Substance, I would say. If
Fair point.
you know what I mean, in terms
Oh.
of quality, in terms of general everything.
Yeah, man.
I feel like it kind of fits in.
Yeah, and you were talking about that before, Mark. As far as like this, you guys definitely have something that's like you can drink the beer and you're like, oh, that's a Bas-Canada beer. In all the different styles, in your haze and your stout specifically, but they're all extremely different. I mean, I've only had a couple of the stouts, I guess, and I've had a bunch of the haze. And it's all very, very different. Even these two we just had before, like they're very different. So I think that says a lot about what you're able to do with the way that you do shit.
Yeah. But it's like IPAs. There's like people. There's people thinking that it's all the same.
Yeah.
Like all our sweet stout are tasting a little bit the same, and there's a lot of people. They were like, if I taste it that way, it is a Bas-Canada stout.
Yeah.
And for me, I like it. Like it's the same thing for our IPAs. When I'm talking like to customers or like our fans or people in general about our beer, and they told me like they are able to recognize that our signature behind a beer, even if sometimes they are like tasting it as like in a blind tasting or something like that, because I have like a couple of story about it, and I like it because that's my goal. I want our like brewery to have like signature behind the style we are like we are brewing, because we are not brewing a lot of different style of beer, honestly, for now. But I want our brewery to have like their signature. When someone tastes one of our IPAs, like the best compliment for us, it tastes Bas-Canada IPAs. Like you like, for, I don't know, it's not that hard to make a good beer, but for me to make a beer that people recognize and recognize the nature and the work behind, it's like it's another step, like, higher than just making good beer. And for me, that's the goal.
That's the
basically.
goal. That recognizable quality.
Yeah.
On that,
I think we should shout out our brewing crew while we're talking. Like, I
Please.
think
Oh, yeah, for sure.
we didn't talk about them. So Eli, Alexi, Danik, Tanya, Fred, like they are the people like behind what's getting brewed, and they are the reason why it's stable and why it's so tight, and why we're always able like to do new stuff and like be very technical about our stuff. So yeah, man, shout out to them, and please like applaud them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
They
what?
are the reason everything is fucking simple.
Awesome.
Respect. Yeah, I mean, we gotta rep for them. No, that's beautiful. I love that. So, I mean, you guys have a solid brew team. I like that you have dialed, down, and you're like, all right, we make amazing haze, we make amazing stouts. One of the beers that I had from you guys early on that blew my mind was L'Aspiration, the Pilsner. I couldn't believe how good that shit was. Is that two questions that lead into the next question that I have from the audience here? Do you do that? I've seen it around a little bit, but I feel like I haven't seen it for a while. So is it coming back? And then two, would you guys do like a line of Pilsners and Crispy Boys of different Helles and Pils itself, and different beers in that realm? Is that something that you would do in the future? So first part was like, is L'Aspiration coming back?
We're definitely with the new facility. We're gonna be able to do. We're bringing in like horizontal tanks, so there will definitely be more lagers than what we're doing right now. That's for sure.
Amazing.
But it won't be our main thing. But for like right now, it's because lagers, it enables us to do 3 batches of IPAs. So it's kind of, considering where we are right now, and as for production, it's always a sacrifice to do a lager. It's very important, but it's a sacrifice right now. So with the next facility, there will definitely be a lager program going on.
Okay, perfect. I definitely want to get into that facility in a second. Electronic Dance Muse is asking, and this is like another question I kind of had for you guys, so I'm glad they asked. Yeah, I want to hear your opinion on the new smoothie sour hype in Quebec. Have you experienced it? So I guess like I wanted to ask, you guys were probably, if I'm honest, like we were saying, you guys have been at the top of the trends for everything, and I don't think you guys have done a smoothie sour yet. What do you think of that? Why have you not done it if that is the case? What's the deal? Be honest. You can shit on them if you need to. Whatever you want to do.
Actually, we have done 2.
You have done 2. Okay.
Yeah, we have done 2, but it was only available on tap, and it was just before the lockdown. So actually, it lasts like for a week or so. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was just before the lockdown. So yeah, we actually. That's a tough question because personally, I like those beer. I've drank first like smoothie sour beer. I've drank. It was like probably like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, because it's not that a new thing in the US.
No, US been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I think the first one I've tried was from The Answer. And
Richmond.
And after that, I've tasted what's the name of the brewery? They are doing like the all label are slushy from Indiana.
Oh, 450 North.
Oh,
For 50.
Yeah,
450
and
or-
after that, I've tried a couple of cans from them, and I like it. The only honestly the only issue I have with that is the packaging.
Right.
Like
yeah.
it's really cool. Like it's super. I think it's smart actually. There's like like traditional way to serve like Berliner Weiss in Germany.
Right, with the
it's served
syrup,
with like
right?
fruit syrup. So serve it like with fruit puree. For me, it's smart. It's just smarter. There's like it's just better flavor, and it's really fun, and I like it. The only thing I'm not a big fan to package it in can because of the risk of re-fermentation. It's the only thing I'm not like fan about. It's the way to package it. If it's like serve on tap and stuff like that, it's really cool. For sure, we'll have like at both tap room and I like it. It's fun and it's super smart. I've like heard some podcasts from I don't know, but it's like a brewery who do like super classical like saison and sour stuff, and they start to serve like sour beer with fruit puree like only on tap like for brunch and stuff like that. And I was surprised, but the brewer explained that it was their way to explain like the way that sweetness impart like the way the beer tastes and the fruit and stuff like that. And I find it like super interesting. For me, that's the only thing. I don't want our can to explode, and it's not like a statement or a way to criticize other breweries. We are friends with like other breweries who are packaging it, and it's fine. And I understand why. And there's like a shit ton of customers who want to buy it and drink it, but for me, I'm like I don't feel comfortable to sell cans who have the potential to explode.
Yeah,
it's
That's fair.
the simple
Yeah.
answer to your question.
The risk factor is too important. Like it's not worth it. Like Gab was saying, like it's just like we would have to do it at our place, but like we're already seeing that with the proxy mode. Like there's people picking up like orders for people and letting the orders in their basement for like 3-4 weeks. What happens with slushies? It paints your
Yeah.
fucking your walls, you know. So no, but that's
Yeah.
actually what happened. So we kind of don't trust our clientele. I think it's like for us, we won't take that risk. It's not worth it. Like, but it's definitely like I enjoy also like slushies. I think it's a perfect like tap room beer, like morning thing, fruity stuff. Like you can do it very light because you just cut it with puree, right? So
What
it's a
about
very interesting style. You can do like you can pass it like and literally like freeze it. Like Miss RM, they have like a kind of slush machine,
Yeah.
a real one.
Yeah.
It's a very cool thing to do. But it's too dangerous to commercialize it. I don't trust our. It's sad, but I don't trust our customers. Like it's we don't want to have
It's fair.
problems with that, and it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's
What
yeah.
about if you
But we
pasteurize?
buy like I buy slushies like because I know
Right.
how to take care of it, but like
Right.
we're not comfortable commercializing it.
That's fair. Have you thought about pasteurizing it at all, like under heat, like the heated water, whatever it is?
Yeah,
Or is that too much
it's
work?
actually it's really complicated to do, especially with cans, because there's like there's some equipment for bottles. There's a lot of actually there's a couple of breweries in US using it. They are using it for stouts, basically, because like adjunct and stout is another issue. But there's like no brewery like Cycle. They are all their stout are pasteurized. Now Bourbon County stout from Goose Island are pasteurized too. But there's like specific equipment to pasteurize bottles. Pasteurized can is it's not there's it's involving like a lot of like very like expensive equipment, and it's like it's really complicated process. Honestly, I still do a lot of reading and try to see like way to, like more stable a way to stabilize that type of product. It's not something impossible. We'll do trial to see if there's a way to keep like. There's also a way. It's doable to do like sour beer with fruit puree in it and can it and to be very stable, but it's involving a lot of chemistry behind it, and I'm not sure I want to do it also because it's involving a lot of sulfite, a lot of stuff. So it's doable, but there's a lot of different like consideration behind it. So we'll see. It's something I honestly, as a beer drinker, it's something I enjoy. And we'll see. Maybe at one point we'll package some if we are finding a way to have it like enough stable to like to sleep at night. But I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. I know Sean at
Which is
Small.
not the case right now, unfortunately.
No, I like that you guys are dedicated to that. I think that's dope. I know we were talking with Sean at Small Pony, and he does a bunch of super small runs of a smoothie sour, and he was explaining what they do. They pasteurize it under I think he'd literally run the cans under hot water for so much time or something, and he had this little machine where you put the cans in it, and it heats it up to like 30 degrees Celsius, and you can like see how the cans will respond. Kind of what Mark was saying, as far as like if someone left in their basement, and you can see like, is it going to explode? Do they swell a little bit? Is it just fine? And you can kind of test it, but it seemed like it was a bit of a thing. And I imagine that your runs would be much larger. I think he does literally like 250 cans or something. It's super small run.
Yeah.
Like you would do a lot more than that. So I don't know if it's feasible.
Yeah, usually now, like with the second brewery, it will be like something. We'll be able to do like those really small trial batches, but right now it's like when we brew something, it's like 2,000. It's 2,000 can basically, except like barrel aged stuff and stuff like that. But that's
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of beer involved, especially just to do some trial with packaging, and and actually it's not like the amount of beer that it's pretty much like the people who are waiting for us each week to release beer. Basically, and it's true. There's always like people they want beer, so they are thirsty, and you have to feed them. And it's when Marc-André was talking about like doing lager. It's not an issue of like cost or money. It's mostly an issue that we have a tank stuck for like 2 or 3 batches of IPAs, and I know that if I explain to our customers that week we only have like, I don't know, 6,000 can instead of 9,000, and he can buy any, like, he's unable to buy beer, and I have a lager sitting in a tanks. After 5 weeks, it will be like, man, what's the problem?
Right.
Don't do lager, just brew IPAs.
So at the
And
end of the
it's
day, yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I had a comment on my post today saying that we were going to be talking to you guys, and they're like, "Can you ask them to amp up production?"
In general, I'll be back in 1 second. Keep talking.
It sells out in 5 minutes or something like that. So yeah, I get it. It totally makes sense what you're saying.
That's a good question, and it's a good point. And yeah, we are working to increase the production volume by a good number. With the second brewery, it will be like very different. I hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I also find,
actually,
I don't know, not to take away from what people say, but I also find it kind of ridiculous that like the success of a brewery or anything, I guess, anything that becomes popular, whether it's beer or fucking, I don't know, shoes or something else, it's almost like, okay, you're popular now, everyone wants your stuff, so everyone buys your stuff, and then you have no stuff left, and now we're mad at you for not having enough stuff. It always seems like absurd to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this privilege thing that we have in society. Like, it's your fault that we want everything that you're doing, so make more. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like a spoiled privilege thing for beer.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and the point and when you are at the point that you're making enough, nobody buy it basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
like the second that Oval starts like, imagine Oval did a big facility, no one's gonna want this fucking set anymore.
Anywhere.
I'm kidding, but
beer is made
true.
to be drank. Beer is made to be drank fresh. So if you have too much, there's a problem. Like, it's not something normal. I think for any type of brewery, like, it's even if you start historically, which is kind of brew pub, or like whatever, like village brewery, it's you brew as it goes out, like, kind of. So it's, I think, that's the craft spirit we will continue. But yeah, there's beers that we can, like, when we'll start doing wild ales or whatever, it can last a lot of time, so that's okay to stack it. But besides that, IPAs, they need to be drank by week 4, and we'll always make sure our IPAs, as much as possible, be drank by week 4. And that's important, man. It's freshness, it's quality, it's everything.
Yeah.
That was actually gonna. I'm glad you asked that, mentioned that, because that was gonna be one of my questions to you guys. And I legitimately don't know what your answer is going to be. Do you have a plan at any point to start doing like mixed fermentation and a barrel program that involves bacteria, wild yeast, that kind of thing? So yeah.
Good question.
It's a very good question. Basically, there's a couple of goals we want to achieve with the new facility. One of them, for sure, is to have like serious barrel aging program for stouts, but also for like wild stuff. It was like something we want to do like when we opened the brewery, but it was like it wasn't possible, and we decide to go like in different direction and to do a lot of like hoppy beers.
Right.
And we'll still do like tons of hoppy beer at the brewery. It's just we'll be able to like to find times and space to do like more lager to do wild ale, to try a lot of like different way to express our barrel aging program with stout. Like our barrel aging program with stout now involving like 16 barrels basically, and we have like we secure a space in our next location to have like 200 to 300 barrels of stout, just stout at the same time.
Wow.
So it's like it's different.
amazing.
It will be like way different. It will be fun. Like my personal goal to open the brewery was to blend beer, basically was to do blend of wild ale and blend of stout, because I'm coming from wine industry and it's always like tasting barrels and try to like to have some kind of goal when with blending all that stuff together. I like that aspect of I like that part of like doing beer, and I want my role in the new facility to be like kind of a cellar master for like all our barrel aging program. So yeah, it will be like a very important part of the new facility. But we want to do
That's exciting.
more lager, and we still want to do like lot of like trial and search, and to try like new technique to do IPAs, and also to maybe like try to package like smoothie beer at one point. I don't know, but we'll want to try to do like try new stuff, and still looking like new trend of beer and stuff like that. Like I don't want the brewery to be like just stuck doing like the always the same thing, and look the like the new breweries and new people in the industry as oh, that stuff is not like real beer and stuff like that. At one point will maybe like be old people looking the new young one as oh, that's not the real stuff and stuff like that. But I don't want it, at least at the beginning. So yeah, honestly, we just want to have fun and to have like some space and time to do like to try to do like barrel aging stuff, things that need more time and stuff like that.
Yeah, we definitely, like Gab said, we definitely want to have fun doing beer. I think that every brewery tries at least to have fun, exploring, doing beer. But like our main goal is to do the fucking best beer in the world, and that's will always be our best goal. I'm not sure we'll be able to achieve it, but it will always be behind our mind, and we will always put our focus on that. So whatever style it is, whatever, we'll always try to be on top of things and try do it our way. And yeah, that our customers and our employees have as much fun as us doing it. So that's another mission, I would say.
That's great. Did we get into the new facility? I know we've like talked about it, but we didn't really talk like really
Not
about
directly.
it. Not directly. So right now you have a facility in Gatineau, correct? Which is the Brewpub.
Yeah.
So what size is the Brewpub as far as the volume?
In terms of like square feet, it's 2,800 square feet.
Yeah.
And we are in terms of production package. Last year, we've done 170. Yeah, 170.
Hectoliters?
hectoliter.
Yeah, hectoliter.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,700 hectoliters.
1,700 hectoliters. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. After
Okay.
after 2 or 3 beer, my English start to. But yeah,
You can speak in
and
French.
yeah, we want to So that's the situation with the our actual brewery, which is like honestly like for a brewery who have a pub, because people doesn't understand that we have like 38 seats plus a retail spot in it plus a really small kitchen. Man, it's a lot of production package in a year. It's like
That's a lot, eh?
it's a lot of beer. Yeah, it's a lot of beer for a space like that. It's like for real and like long term, it's impossible to do that because we'll just probably broke the whole like building or stuff like that. At one point, there was probably like some hole in the walls, and I don't know. But yeah, well, and the first year with the new facility, we want to add. I don't know. I don't remember the number, Marc. Give them the number.
1,300 square feet of like fuck l'espace bureau.
Oh, office
Some
space.
Yeah.
some space.
Office space.
Yeah, we'll
office
have
space
yeah,
upstairs, but it's
we'll have
12,000 square
office.
feet. Yeah, we'll have an office. We don't have an office right now, so
Okay.
yeah, it's basically like a counter bar, but whatever. Yeah, so it will be way bigger, and like I think I would like to do the research, but I have the feeling that we do like per square feet, we have the biggest production per square feet in Quebec. That's a feeling I have, honestly.
Amazing.
For a brew pub at like
Wow.
for because with like for
Hmm.
1,700 hectoliters, we're with 2,800 like square feet. I think no one in Quebec does it,
Okay.
honestly.
That's pretty crazy. So this new space though, is it far from the existing brew pub?
12 kilometers away.
12 kilometers. Okay. And it's
Yes.
like, and you have, and basically you've secured, I saw the pictures that you guys posted of the building being built, and I know it's not all your building, but you've got a decent chunk of this new building, brand new space, and you've secured a large like production facility, essentially is what it'll be. Is that right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, 10,000 square feet of production.
Fuck. Okay, that's amazing. So, what's the plans? Is the point basically right now for people who don't know, like Bar-Canada beer is very hard to get. I'm not gonna lie. I've hardly had any of your shit over the 3 or 4 years, but your shit is that good that it makes the top 10 of our, when we do the Quebec top 10 list every year, because it's that good. Even if I have 2 different beers, I'm like, yo, this makes the top 10. So the idea is that potentially now, because you sell out so quick, yes, you've got the highest production per square feet potentially in Quebec, but it still sells out. So there's a lot more demand than what you can currently supply. So is the idea that when you get to this new facility, will you be ramping up production of the existing brands, such as HYPA, such as the all of this series with all the historical locations, with the pastry stouts, etc. But now you'll be able to have a bunch of lagering tanks that don't affect the rest of your production. You'll be able to have the barrels, Gab, that like you were saying. Like you're really going to be able to serve the communities who are, the wider Quebec community now with this new facility. Is that the aim?
Actually,
Actually, oh God.
Actually,
Right.
and I will try to answer super quickly to that question because, like, it's a super good question and it's so vast in terms of like possible answer. For me, my main goal is to have like at least one beer that people can buy at both location.
Okay.
Like just at least one beer in can or bottle, like when people come at the brewery to buy some. Because we spent the last 3 years having like most of the time like we had to tell people that we don't have anything for them to take out. So I find it like so tough, and we are a business at the end of the day, and we want to sell beer to people. So it's like just nonsense to don't have like beer to sell. So that's for me, that's my main goal, to have at least have one product like
all the time
at old brewery to go for people who come.
Okay. So, for example,
when you say one product,
yeah,
do you mean the same product, or just to make sure that there's at least something that someone can buy at all times?
There's just at least something to buy.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that means that if someone comes in, obviously pre-pandemic, and sat down at the brew pub, had a couple of beers, had something to eat, and wanted to leave with a 4-pack, they probably couldn't do that, is what you're really saying.
They could do that most like 2 days per 14 days.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And that's not, obviously, like you said, you're a business, you're there to serve the community, you're there to make money. Neither of those things are happening because you sell out in minutes every single week that you're doing releases. So the idea is that you can ramp up production, because really right now, for the last 3 and a bit years, you haven't even been able to keep up with the demand.
No, not at all. We have a super extended list. We have approximately 500 customers in Quebec only that want to open either bar, restaurants, or it's mostly supermarkets and like specialized dépanneurs. But there's also a lot of restaurants and bars that we will, even if we crank up like the production, we don't want to make sure everyone has of our beer, because that's not like point of craft brewery, right? To be everywhere.
Yeah.
But we want at least to our main customers to have a certain more regular, on a regular basis delivery, and be able to crank up a little bit the volumes per customer, open a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of customers, new customers. Some areas like Quebec City, maybe try to either serve them more often, or try to figure something out. And we have actually a lot of demand for exportation. So we will try to have always it will be a small percentage of our volume, but we'll work on exportation a little bit, because there's so much interest in markets that want to have our stuff and want to discover us, and we want to also make the world taste our beer. So
where would you go?
It's gonna be a way of doing it. Firstly would be probably in BC, just because it's COVID right now or whatever, but there's a lot of demand in New York State, Michigan, Vermont, Spain, France, Netherlands, a lot of South Korea, Japan, China, Romania, even African countries. But I think after, it depends on what will go on with the pandemic, but I think the most interesting right now will be BC, even if we're in the same country, but it's still considered exportation.
It's pretty fun.
And try to look like France, Spain, because it's the same importers and it's easy to travel from a country to another. And because when we do exportation, we want to do events also. So try to when we send beer there, we try to have 2 or 3 tap takeovers in France and Spain, and make our stay work.
That's so cool, man. I think that it changed the game for you guys, and I think on top of what it means for Bas-Canada, I think what it means for Quebec too. I feel like if Quebec haze is being exported like that, and pastry stouts, being that you guys were some of the architects of that movement here in the province, I think that would be a beautiful thing to really put the province on the map. Even my friends in Vermont, when before obviously all of this, I was going down there, I'd always bring stuff for my friends down there, and I feel like they become, even in Vermont, a place that's crazy spoiled with fucking amazing beer. Like they want something from elsewhere. And I feel like there's certainly a market for that. And you guys have got that rep. Like you're saying, if you've got all of those countries knocking on your door, asking for it, it says a lot about what you've been doing. I think that's super cool, man. And the production size then of this new brewery, is there like a number of like, right now you said you were doing 1,700 hex per year in the Brewpub. Do you know how much this would add to it from the production facility, or is it like hard to know until you get all this stuff?
But it is hard to know. We'll probably like. My goal is after the year 2, we're doing like twice the production of the first brewery. So probably like 3,000 egg or something like that more with the new facility. But honestly, it will depend of a lot of factors. It's like we had earlier like all the discussion when we opened like the first brewery, and we've brewed like a bit our own brew portfolio, which it was fine. It was like interesting beer. It was a bit like kind of Belgian and some like American porky and stuff like that. So to be honest, I have like always planned in my head about our program, about one style and stuff like that. But the truth is, I want for us to be like not stuck in a very like very precise plan about production and style and brewing. If like in 2 years easy IPAs are now, I don't know the name, IPAs, maybe in 2 years it will be our main focus, not because we want to be trendy, but just because I don't want for us to have like closed door in front of us. I just want for us to have more opportunity, and for me having more opportunity to brew beer, it to have like more space, more equipment, more staff, and like more resources to do like more research, to do more to brew more diverse style of beer. And if there's new style up and we'll find that style interesting, it might be like the new brut IPA, or it may be also the new easy IPA. So for us, it like in 2 years, what we are doing now, we'll maybe look at it like in a podcast with you guys in like 4 or 5 years and see that, oh man, that was the old times, and it was like today's things are so different. So for us,
the new guys are not brewing beers. Like that's what we'll be saying in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone will be into Russes in 5 years. It's
back to
the
Rus.
return of the Rus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're like, you're not brewing hazies, you fucking sick people.
It's that so 2021. We're all about Rus right now. It's all about the
Irish red ales.
Yeah. Lot of filtration and lot of Rus. Yeah, that's our new motto.
Bas-Canada, Team Rus.
Yeah.
There's gonna be bitter contest. Gonna be bitter contest, man.
A bitter contest, IBUs again. I want to see a T-shirt. Instead of saying lactose, I want to say Rus.
Yes.
Bas-Canada, Rus.
Team Rus.
Think about it. All right? I'm just
saying. Did we want to try the double before we finish this off?
I'm down.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. I think it's Timber O'Clock, definitely.
Timber O'Clock.
Go get it.
Timber O'Clock?
Yes, it's a beer called Timber.
I have to grab a new glass.
Yeah, no problems. Oh, this is glorious. Yo, this stout was fucking insane. This is
What's that?
really. This was insane. I'm very impressed with this.
Oh, it's so good, right?
Yeah, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Tiff's
it's
loving it.
lovely.
Thank you so very
I'm
much.
excited for this IPA.
Woo!
Oh, this is the Wood Brothers collab, right?
Oh shit! Nice. Shouts to the folks out there. Shouts to Mark, Natasha, Louis, Dan. Tell us about this one, boys.
Dan.
Oh, the Rawaka. There it is. That's the Rawaka right there. Ooh, listen to that sound. Listen to that pour. That was good audio. Oh my god. Do you want to do a photo back? Or do you want to do it after? Okay. We're going to get the photos as we go, you know? It's like action shots, yeah? Action shots. Tell us about this beer, guys.
And you have to smile.
Greg,
Yeah,
open
the-
your fucking mouth, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll do the fake laugh. It's so fucking funny. Did you know the secret to a good smile is a fake laugh? It's dead serious.
That's perfect.
Yeah, right? Oh, fucking look
Wouldn't-
at
What about a real laugh?
that. It becomes like a real laugh. When you fake laugh, it becomes a real laugh. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay.
You know? Wow. This smells amazing. So did they come to the brewery? Did the Wood Brothers guys come to the brewery to do this, or was it like an what's it called, a virtual collab?
No, they came actually to the brewery.
Okay.
So
nice.
like it's been a couple of months that we're in talkings with the Wood Brothers to do a collab.
Nice.
They get a taste of our beers a lot of times. So yeah, we're fans of their beers and they're fan of ours. And like somewhere in December, I went to go meet them with DK, Danik DK, shout out, one of the brewers at the brewery.
Oh,
We went with Andrew Farrell from Dominion City, shout out. Went to meet the
Oh,
guys
Andrew.
at the Wood Brothers there.
I fucking
Yeah,
love
Andrew
Andrew.
Farrell.
He's not
And
fucking homie.
yeah, just like touch bases with them and go visit the place and have some fun. And yeah, afterwards it was like kind of like a red zone, and like, it was impossible. But we did like Gab and the guys did the recipe virtually, and they came to visit us during the day, and we had a lot of fun actually. And it kind of sucks because they're not there, but I think the best pairing with the beer is a joint, so I'll like it.
Spark it up, bro. I'm here for it. It's legal in Canada for anybody watching in America.
Yeah, exactly. So they're very nice guys, man. Honestly, Dan, Louis, and Mark and Natasha also like very good people. They're very like in love with the beer, so it was a pleasure for us to do a collab with them. And honestly, it's one of the best collabs we did so far. It's so fucking aromatic. It's so good, so nice.
Oh, it's crazy.
Everything's on point. Like the visual is nice. The collab, just having them, like it was cool. Like to have them for a day. So yeah, I have nothing to say negative about that.
They didn't fuck around. There's a really interesting hop profile. You got the Australian Art Galaxy, then you got the New Zealand Rawaka Moteka. How did you guys choose the hops? Because that's a pretty interesting hop bill.
But actually, we were discussing a bit about hops. That was like the beginning part of the discussion about the collab. And I don't remember it, but they were like, they've seen the collab we've made for our anniversary before, and they were like, what? I play maybe with like New Zealand up and stuff like that, but they were like, doing maybe Nelson Sauvin with Galaxy and stuff like that, and was like, yeah, we already do Dryad, which is like the same hops, and at one point, I suggest that we use Riwaka because we managed to secure like a good amount of it. And with Galaxy, I was thinking it was like probably a really good combination. And to maybe I add a third ops. It's always like the third ops is like you don't taste it, but you need it. Like Motueka, it's a lot of like lime character and stuff like that. So in
Lime,
that case, for me, like you got Galaxy is like it's passion fruit. It's like it's thick. That's the big stuff. Riwaka, it's a bit more herbal, but it's always almost like savory.
Yeah, I'm getting
And
that.
you
It's
got
I'm almost it's impossible to describe. It's like this
yeah, it's
so
weird.
interesting.
It's weird. The we'll do a beer using only Riwaka soon because
like a single hop.
I want to try it just Riwaka because I don't know. It's the second beer we use Riwaka, and I'm like start to be like, yeah, I want to investigate a bit more about it because it's interesting. It's for me, it's now it's like a savory. I don't know how to describe it, but there's like a food component, but there's also some herbal, but I don't know, some kind of sesame or like seed character, or it's just weird. And Matrika, it's like it's a lot of like lime or almost like key lime character. So I always find Matrika is like it will never be like the star of an IPA, but as a second or third up, it's to have like the citrus and like sweet citrus character. It's a great up.
That's actually really well described. The lime, I can get that lime, man. The lime is like
yeah.
yeah.
And in that case, for me, it's almost like key lime. There's kind of a creamy lime thing. I don't know.
It genuinely is. I'm totally getting it. Electronic. I got a bunch of comments. Electronic Dance Music saying, "Oh my god, guys, I want to drink another one." This was the person who was drinking one earlier. The trip by bus was worth it.
What's his real name?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Who is he? Like, I have the feeling I know. Is it?
You know why?
Is it André Sylvain? Who's the
He
guy?
says. Man? He says, "I was probably your biggest order of the week. Nice glasses, by the way."
And okay, it was shipped in bus.
And he's in Sherbrooke. It's someone in Sherbrooke.
Okay, it's from Sherbrooke, and it was shipped in bus. Mark, 2 days ago, we got a guy who just showed up at the brewery, and he sent us it was on Facebook and stuff like that. He was asking to have like to be at the brewery outside the regular hour, and on the Shopify there was a note saying that he wants like to have like a very solid like extra box or something like that to
Wasn't
ship
it the Toronto guy?
No, we don't have like any box to ship beers and stuff like that. So I had to cut cardboard with the guy and to use like a ton of tape and garbage bag to have everything wrapped, because now we have like the trays are with the brewery logo, and if it's like you can ship any alcohol through Canada Post, but that's the same thing with like people are shipping stuff with Voyageur buses and stuff like that.
Wow.
So, and Kim is our taproom manager, and she was working on her computer, and she was just laughing because I was there cutting like piece of cardboard and tape.
No, but for the Toronto guy, no.
No, it wasn't a Toronto guy. The guys was shipping beer to Sherbrooke. He told me, but I wasn't sure, and it was like through Canada Post or like buses or stuff like that. I don't know, but ask for like specific, like very tough boxes to ship the beer,
That's
and
amazing.
we don't have that stuff. So it's maybe like the beer from Electronic Dance Muse.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be it actually. That sounds like it must be because he's saying
Could be.
4.75
Could be
out of 5.
possible.
It could be it. He also said try double Rawaka at Hill Farmstead. It's crazy, grassy AF. So I guess that's right. Grassy is definitely the word there. Another commenter, I don't know, Buttick.
Buttick.
That's a great name. He said the collab was awesome. You should do more stuff with Wood Brothers. Would love to see a sour or a stout.
For sure.
I would also.
Why not?
Actually, fun fact: the
Talk to us.
collabo we brewed, like Timber, people thought because we all had stout glasses on our hand, they all thought we were doing like a pastry stout collab.
Oh
Like,
yes.
they're like, "Oh, nice! Finally,
Let's see.
pastry stout. You're doing it. Like, let's do a stout." And like, we're just laughing. We
Yeah.
weren't drinking a stout, but yeah.
But it was a haze. It was haze.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like
Exactly.
this
we
makes-
were and worse, we're drinking SRM stuff.
a Mr. M.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
From neither of
Yeah,
you guys.
it was a Mr. M style.
Isn't that more the fun way though? Like I always find the breweries never want to drink their own shit. They're like, all right, give me some other stuff. I drink my shit all the time. Like, give me something else.
It's true.
No, that's actually I always make sure to like buy stuff from SRM, Brewski, and like a lot of breweries I like. Just that people we get on, like we get to taste our like friends and competitors, and we just like always like what's nice is at the same like at the end of the day we're like, oh, this beer is good, but ours is fucking better, man. Like it's so comforting. Sorry, I don't want to be arrogant about it, but
No.
no, but we need to drink like the others
I
beer.
love
Like
it.
that's it's like that. Like it's I don't know. Like it's they feel that our competitors feel the same. I'm pretty sure they drink a beer like, man, that's the best beer I had in fucking wow.
I hope so. Because before like the borders close and everything, it's funny because I have like a good. I start to have like kind of a good network in US, so I was able like to ship our beer, trade with people in different spots in US, especially like New York State and Florida.
Nice.
So I was crossing the border sometime to send our bottles to like to some beer gig and like to have beers from brewery like I love who I want to try from US, and it was like and it was so fun, and it was not just fun, but it was great to taste like beer from different breweries. Like that was the way I first like tried beers from like brewery like Side Project and stuff like that. Where it was like I was drinking the beer from some stout from Side Project, and I was like, man, we are doing like we are brewing good stout, but it's not like even close of the stuff they are doing, and so it's so great to taste like other to taste beer from other breweries, and it just always like a bit of I don't know, you want to improve your technique and the way you're brewing, and sometimes it's the ingredients, sometimes it's technique, or like I don't know, you read that a brewery use 300 grams of coconut per liter for a stout, so you want to try it and you want to do it yourself after. So it's always a way to taste like better stuff, and yeah, it's a good way to improve its taste beer from other breweries.
Yeah, man.
If you just drink your stuff, if you're making good beers, you'll still making good beers, but you'll never improve for sure.
Yeah, man.
Well, and I imagine like you don't if you go that if you only drink what you produce, I mean like you said, if you produce good beer, then you'll continue to produce good beer, I guess, but you're not expanding your horizons, for lack of a better term. Like you're not seeing what else is out there. You're not looking at what's changing, what's different, what you're doing that's perhaps better, but also what you're doing that's not as good. And you're not.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Like for me, it only makes sense that you still go out and try and at least somewhat try things to see what's going on elsewhere. Because otherwise, you
Yeah,
end
like
up.
earlier, yeah.
Go on.
But like earlier on, like I was being very cocky about like the others' beers and
Yeah.
our beer. But like it's important to compare. Like if you don't drink others' beer, you're not able to taste yours properly. Like you need to have like
It's true.
comparison.
Exactly.
It's very important. Like for everyone, like it's what made us what we are today is what we tasted before and what we were willing to either try to reproduce or do it our way, but try to like figure out like brew it that type of stuff, by brewing other
Yeah.
beers. That's our main like R&D. Our R&D is tasting beers from other breweries in the States or wherever it is. Like that's our R&D drinking.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, and also it's for real. It's simple maths. If you have like 10,000 people saying that the stuff that brewery is brewing is freaking good, you might not agree because you have like you have like your palate and you have like personal taste, but it means something at one point. Like there's some amount of people that they are thinking that the way farmstead are brewing saison, it's freaking awesome. You might not agree, but at least try it. Try to drink
Yeah.
it just to have a way, just to have like maybe an opinion or to have like something to say about it. It's like honestly, I pay $400 for a bottle of beer barrel time of side project because I've met a lot of people like in festival in US and stuff like that they were saying that that's the best like stout ever brew, and I don't know if it's true. It's a freaking good beer. Is it worth like $400? I don't know, but I'm I'm glad to have paid that amount of money at least to try it and to understand what's behind that beer and why people are willing to pay $400 for a freaking bottle of stout, which is like crazy.
Exactly.
that's insane.
But it's freaking insane. But I understand why, because there's just more than a beer behind it, and that's fine. I understand why. I won't pay $400 again for it, but I understand why people are putting that amount of money for a bottle of stout. I understand why.
Yeah.
Well, I
There's
guess
a reason
and
behind.
even if you are disappointed, which is probably kind of likely when you're spending $400 on a bottle of beer, at least you can kind of understand. All right, like you taste it, you're like, okay, this is okay, but it's not worth this. Why are people so into it? At least if you can learn something from it in the sense of,
Oh yeah,
okay, there's
sure.
something happening here that people are just in love with, and you can at least try and pick that piece out, whether or not you think personally that it speaks to you in a way that costs that amount of money. At least you're able to like better understand what people are looking for, and then ultimately better understand what you want to brew yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, people are really looking for this, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and whatever. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, especially as a brewer and an owner of a brewery, I can imagine. Sure, it's definitely
Yeah.
worth you seeking out.
And I don't like the way I see it. I don't want to like to tell people who are putting a lot of money to buy a bottle of beer that isn't worth it. For me, like putting that amount of money to buy a beer is just fucking crazy. But
Yeah.
like if it's the best thing in the world in that style, at least I want to try it. It's like for me, just in terms of like to be like curious about it and want to try it. And for me, man, it was probably like I don't know if it's the best stout I ever taste, but at least it's for me it's top 3. It was like a freaking good stout, and it's amazing. It is interesting story behind it and stuff like that. And actually, Mark he doesn't like it, but that's another issue. It's like anything. If you want to be like I don't know to be the best stout brewer, you have to taste all the best
Of course.
stout on the planet. For me, yeah, I don't know. There's something there that you need to try, and you need to be open mind about that stuff and to understand what people like. And it's not like I don't want to make the same stout as other breweries. I just want us to what customers want, but also what's our palates, and at the end of the day to be happy with the beer we brew. So we are making the stout we want to drink, and I think and I hope that's the kind of beer that our customers want to drink, basically.
So Electronic Dance Music asked, what was the beer again? You said it was a side project stout?
Yeah, it's called Beer Barrel Time. So it's a blend of different like barrel aged stouts. Usually it depends. They are doing like a blend per year, and it's it's a blend of 3 to 6 or 7 different stout blend together. Usually it's stout like 16 to like 30 months age in barrels. So it's blend of different type of barrels also. They are actually the guy who started that brewery was a brewer at Perennial Artisan Ale. Yeah, it was making fuck, I don't remember, as the beer with Abraxas.
Oh yeah, I've had that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he worked at Perennial for a couple of years, and he started that project. He was bringing like stout at Perennial, and he was moving the beer to his own warehouse or something like that, to barrel age it. And after a certain time, he buys some brewing equipment, and he started that brewery called Side Project because it was for him it was a side project at the beginning. At one point, I think he had something like 40 barrels of stout, and he was still brewing at Perennials. And he started that project. It's only like barrel aged beer, so he's doing like stout and wild stuff, basically.
Yeah, that's great.
I think I've only ever had the chance of trying 1 or 2 side projects, and they were great. But be lovely to try more down the line. But I think it's interesting what you were saying about trying beers, and I think that's kind of a pitfall that a lot of brewers get into, where they kind of they tend to only exist within their own world. You all right there, bud?
I'm good. I see the piss, and I took my headphones off much too aggressively.
I thought you were gonna slip and fall again.
Let's not talk about that. You motherfucker.
And not that there's anything wrong with diving into your own beer and you know, like believing in what you're doing, but I think there is something key to still like examining what else is out there, because otherwise you kind of end up I'm trying to find the word, but you're not you can certainly continue being creative in your task, but you're not looking at what else is going around outside of yourself, kind of thing. So like I think if I were ever to be in that industry, I'd want to at least try hard to still try what's going on around and being aware of what's going on around, because I talk to a lot of brewers and I get the impression that they're kind of existing in their own little ecosystem. They're not necessarily understanding. It's like, oh, why does everyone want haze, or why does everyone want this or whatever, and you're just like, well, why aren't you trying to understand why people want that? And then it doesn't mean you have to do it too, but you can at least try and put yourself in the shoes of the consumer or whatever, or at least like try and understand what the beer geek wants in some capacity. I don't know if that makes sense.
But when we are tasting others' beers, we are customers. So by being customers, we're able to do like beer that customers want at a certain point. I don't know, like if I'm expressing it properly or
no, it makes sense.
No,
like that's the key. Like that's the key, man. You need to drink others' beer. You need to first to see if you're doing good beer, and secondly to like if there's something new, just to get a taste of it and maybe consider it, like do it. Like,
yeah, man. Yo, you make a
so,
good point, Mark.
It's so
And
important.
I guess,
like,
go on, guys. Somebody.
and like and I imagine it gets challenging too, because like there is no objectively like perfect beer, or objectively like this is like I don't think you could say one beer is objectively better than another beer, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to personal taste to a certain degree, right? So I think, I'm guessing a lot of the time it's balancing that, right? Like you said, that side project beer was in your top 3, Gabe, but for Marc-André, he wasn't huge into it. So obviously you have different preferences or whatever, but so it's like it's balancing that, like, okay, what do I like versus what does the world like, and what is the world thinking is the best versus what the world is thinking is the worst. And then I guess finding some middle, like somewhere in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah, that speaks to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I honestly, there's always that contradiction between like kind of new money and old money. That there's the new people in the industry, and like the old people are like people who's doing like new style and people doing like traditional style. And for me, like there's that supposed contradiction is like maybe existing between those people, or I don't know, because personally I don't feel like Bas-Canada is a traditional brewery. I don't feel it's like unconventional, or it's a we haven't like start new trend or stuff like that. We are making like beer with like beer ingredient, and we can have like discussion with what's supposed to be a beer or not, but we have a lot more discussion in the last maybe 2 or 3 years about like palate, taste, and like what's a good
Texture,
beer
gasification.
and what's not a good beer than it was before. Like when
Mhm.
I start to buy beer, basically I was only looking like label, and if I like IPAs, I was like buying 10 bottle of IPAs, and it was that's it. Today we have discussion about style, historic of style, um, sweetness in beer, tartness in beer, texture, bitterness, and we have a way more discussion about what's in a beer than it was before. When I start brewing a beer with Marc-André in a freaking apartment basement, it was like how many IBUs? It is bitter. It is not bitter.
The
The
color.
way we are talking about beer today, it's way more sophisticated than it was like 5 years ago. It's
Yeah.
totally different. But for me, I find it a little bit like the same thing as it is in the wine industry. There's a way more chapel in it. There there's a lot of like people who disagree about like stuff, which is like not like in my it's not like major like really important stuff. There's people disagreeing about like IPAs, putting like fruit or fruit puree in beer. And like 5 years ago, there were people disagreeing that using like I don't know rum extract to brew a
Right.
beer. Today, it's like it's another level of stuff. It's the same wine industry about like natural wine and stuff like that. In those days, it's
Right.
like there's people fighting about like super like specific definition of stuff. Then 10 years ago, they were like making wine, making organic wine. It was like something freaking weird. Today, there's the best producer in the world who are making like organic wine. It's a little bit like the same thing. They seem to have like more disagreement, but people disagree more to each other. But like if you take all those people together, they are making like beer that's way higher in quality than it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. No, it's a totally different thing. Simon
Which is
L
crazy.
says, no, it totally is. Just a really quick interject. Simon L says you should accept Bitcoin in your shop. Can you imagine a brewery taking Bitcoin? Is there any?
I'll take a Bitcoin. I can give a couple of stouts for a Bitcoin. That's for sure, man. Maybe
What's that?
I can give at maybe 10 stouts for a Bitcoin. Yeah, that's totally doable.
Let's do it, Mark. I mean, that sounds like a great deal.
What is that? 60K right now?
Yeah, why not?
Pretty...
People should challenge us, like how much beer we're willing to
Hey.
give for a Bitcoin.
BA Substance has gone for more than that.
More than 60K?
Oh, easily. BA Substance is like the white whale of the fucking Quebec trade groups. You know?
Is it really? Yeah. It's up there. It's worth a Bitcoin. Yeah. People are just giving Bitcoins out.
It's worth 2
Bitcoins.
Earlier today, DK, which is one of our brewers, he sold. He sold.
Don't say that.
It's okay, man. No, let's just say it. Okay, he sold.
Okay, fine.
He sold. It's okay. Like he sold Benan, $250 to someone, and this person sold it to $400, man. There's
Wow.
someone
Oh my.
was willing to pay a fucking 5-month banana $400, man.
Okay, so for you guys,
Like, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. Like, it's not.
how does it make you feel? How do you feel about that?
I mixed feelings. I would
That's a
say
good question. What's that?
very mixed feelings.
In what way?
Mixed feelings. Yeah, mixed
Break it down.
feelings. I'm happy actually that our beers are willing to like be worth as much on secondary or like in that case third like level.
Tertiary market.
At a certain point, we sold the beer also 20. Benan was 25, 28, 25, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was
So on a
25.
commercial level, yeah, on the commercial level, it kind of pissed me off, but it's okay. Like it's.
Okay.
I just can't believe that a human paid $400 for like even if it's the best beer in this. I can't
Like,
believe that. Like,
Yo, that's more than
can't
what you
believe that.
paid for the side project.
Yeah.
Is that right? See, that's fucking crazy. So, like, is it like that's not what you is that okay? Because I understand the mixed feelings, Mark. Because like the good feeling is like, wow, something we made. Someone thinks it's worth like $400. Like that's fucking crazy. But at the same time, like, is that why you got into beer to make shit that people like don't have access to, like, for it to be worth that much? Is that a good thing? I'm not judging me. I mean, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Like, what does that mean for beer? That, you know what I mean? Like, it's an interesting conversation because
I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah.
It's a tough question.
It's
a tough
so
question
weird.
Because actually when you brew beer, you want it's weird. You want the right person to drink your beer in that case.
Right.
You want the people who enjoy it and drink it to drink it. But that's the weird part, like doing like all the production and also like the little bit like the work on the marketing or selling space is you have people who's like reselling your stuff for that much money, and for sure, like, I don't want people to pay more than that for us was a right price to sell the beer. But it's like it is weird. And and also plus when you got like one of the brewers were selling one of the beers at that point, and I was like, it's weird, but it was part, at least it was part of the process.
So you got something out of it.
At least he made the biggest cut. Like, I'm happy that when the brewer
That's
made
10x.
the biggest cut out of it.
Yeah, man.
And happy that the guy who like put his hand to make it, like, probably make more money than us on that beer, because like people doesn't understand, but making like those heavily like adjunct stout, it's not good business basically for us, because it's really expensive, and also it took time. So we don't have like the status of like Angry Chair and brewery like that who actually sold non-barrel aged adjunct stout at like 30 US bucks for a bottle and stuff like that. And it's like in US market, it is something like, it is usual. It's not like some very high price and stuff like that. For us doing stuff like that, it's like it took time. So we are not brewing like beer with fast rotation, and also it the price of the ingredient are heavy.
Yeah.
Like vanilla, it's expensive. Coconut, it's also expensive, and it's fine. And we don't want to cut into like using like bad ingredient and use stuff like that. Like we try to find like better company to work with them. We find a super good supplier for vanilla. Man, I don't remember the name of the
Chantal.
company, but Colibri Vanilla. Yeah, I don't remember exactly the name of the company, but that woman, she's so into vanilla.
It's impressive, man. It's impressive.
You could do a podcast just about vanilla.
It's incredible how passionate she is about it. It's crazy when she she was asking Gab question about the processing of the vanilla, and I was like, oh my god, like that woman, vanilla is her passion. Like it's every day. It's day like she wakes up vanilla, she sleeps vanilla. And it's not a racist joke. Like it's really vanilla.
For sure.
Yeah, but for real, that woman is so passionate about vanilla. It's just incredible. But now she's selling vanilla, of course, at the Bas-Canada Brewery, but also at Meteoric, Dominion City, and other breweries. And she's always like, with that type of nuts, you should use that type of vanilla and stuff like that. So
she's like, she knows the game now.
last time I had a conversation, like a discussion about vanilla with her. She was like, "What the fuck, man? You talking about like mixing that type of adjunct with vanilla and a stout and stuff like that?" But yeah, she's selling now vanilla with like at all the breweries making like stout with adjunct in Eastern Canada, maybe.
Wow.
So it's really interesting, but the reason why she's selling vanilla to all of us is because she's super just, it's a nonsense act. Like when I talked with Scott at Dominion City, I told him that if she reach him through phone, he need at least like a full hour just to talk vanilla with her. It's a basic threshold in this. So
what's impressive is like it's not like there's so much ingredients done in beer, like, but she's like only vanilla and like cocoa nibs. She's like, man, she can get you, like she can fuck up your afternoon. Like she'll just talk, and that's crazy.
No, we should get her on.
It's amazing.
Let's get her on.
It's definitely like that. She will make, like we said, an hour and a half, and we're at 3 hours. She will make 5 hours on only Madagascar, man. If you want that, Uganda, that's 2 hours extra.
Yo, there's Ugandan vanilla?
What?
Yeah,
we call it Adjunct series.
Yeah.
So it is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So maybe we'll get you guys back with her, so then you guys can guide the conversation.
Oh yeah, we'll bring Chantal
into
the conversation, man. She's something.
Maybe she could send us all some vanilla. We can all smell the vanilla.
Yeah, but we should bring Luc also from YCH, man. He would probably be interested in.
I've had Luc on before, actually. Sure. I had Luc on. Do you know what? It was right before Food Uni, actually, because they had the hop farmers out from Yakima. So we did like a podcast with those guys. That shit was fascinating, by the way. Like learning how the hop farmers work and like why I didn't know that hops could be patented, and that's why Galaxy isn't grown in Quebec and all this type of stuff. It's fucking crazy. They knew their shit, man.
Yeah.
Luke's a good dude. But that's hilarious. I
And-
really didn't know the vanilla was that deep. Like that's actually it's cool, but it's funny as fuck.
No, man, no,
Yeah.
that's fucking yeah. It's everything like it's. Even I am
Good
like, man,
You're
I
like,
can't believe
yo.
still today. I can't believe that. I just can't. We had the moment. Miss Rim was there and she was talking vanilla and cocoa nibs. I was looking at
Yeah.
Gab. I'm like, man, I'm
We gotta
so
go.
fucking impressed of what's going on right now. Like,
Yeah,
she didn't even care about the pastry styles, the brewery, man. What? Like, let me
it
talk
was.
about my vanilla. Shut the
Let's-
fuck up
Yeah.
about everything else.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my stuff, man, right now.
that that half
It's-
an hour was so interesting. It man, that woman's something.
Okay.
It's so cool. It's so interesting, but it's like anything. Like you think about having discussion about ups with Luke from Yakimachi. It's like it's super interesting. It's super deep into like varietal
No
and history.
incognito. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
and
talk about incognito.
he
Don't
will,
talk about galaxy.
yeah, and he will talk shit about Aussie ups for sure
You better not.
because
You better not.
yeah,
I'll get him. I'll fucking call him.
because no, because YCH doesn't have the right to sell Galaxy or Big Secret and stuff like that. So Luke is always pissed about it. But it is the same thing with Chantal. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't have the right to sell that type of vanilla and stuff like that. But it was so fun to have us plus staff from Messorem talking with Chantal about vanilla during like I don't know at least an hour. And vanilla is it's man, it's a fun product for real. Like no, I
It
think
felt
you
like a
don't
convention.
vanilla.
Like she was giving us a lecture, like about like vanilla.
It's like a
Literally.
university
Yeah.
class.
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, I think
That's
it pays off
classy.
because the way that you guys use vanilla seems to be on another level. I don't know
Exactly.
if it's related to her or if it's just your brewing technique or whatever,
But
but like
but for real, we try like maybe like at least 6 or 7 different supplier because we vanilla is a tough thing. It is super expensive. It is like when it's good, it's freaking good, and you open a bag of vanilla and it's like it smell all around. It's like it just have that super like strong, intense, aromatic, and plus when you put vanilla beans in a beer, it tastes vanilla, but it tastes vanilla that in a way that it is not really vanilla. It tastes like milk chocolate, basically. When you have like
yeah.
good quality of vanilla, and actually a lot of people are saying that all our stout are tasting like milk chocolate, and it
Oh yeah,
not
big time.
because we are doing chocolate or stuff like that. It's just the vanilla we use.
Okay.
Like
That
good vanilla.
your stouts taste like lava cake. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
melted chocolate lava cake, and that's
Yeah.
like
It
Chocolate
really
sauce.
is.
I feel like that's a quintessential thing for the Bas-Canada 10%
Yeah.
sweet stouts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yo, even
it's that,
this,
and that
even
makes
this,
so much sense.
yeah.
Even
And
this is like
there-
lava cake, though.
Yeah, there's two things who give that taste to our beer. It's it's the quality of the vanilla and the way we are working the vanilla, but also the some malt we are using. But the main factor is vanilla quality. When you use like very good vanilla, it will just pop. It just like you taste the beer and it just tastes like fucking milk chocolate, and you use like I haven't do like anything. I've just fucking deal with Chantal during like maybe an hour, 2 hour of explanation about what's real Madagascar vanilla and how people are growing it and stuff like that. But she's amazing. But for real, she's really into vanilla. And man, if you got like you brewing beer, you want to do a stout with vanilla, the just the if you want to know that you're using good vanilla, if it tastes like lava cake or milk chocolate, you're using good vanilla.
Right.
That's just the simple way to give you an answer about it. But there's nothing like that.
I never would have picked that the vanilla is the reason for that flavor. Like that's even crazier.
It would
Man,
explain why
honestly, like,
this kind of blew me away, because if they're using the same producers as you, these beers are very impressive too.
Yeah.
There's
Mastorum.
It's not just vanilla, but it's part of the answer.
Obviously.
We have made like some stouts without using vanilla who taste that way, but it need like a different type of process and stuff like that. But yeah, just straight good vanilla with a good stout, you'll able to bring those flavor.
It's so crazy. Like, you don't really appreciate, because I always thought it was almost strange that people are always like Madagascar vanilla. I'm like, what the fuck is the difference? Who cares?
Yeah,
but
there is a difference. Like I've tasted Mexican,
like coffee, I guess.
The day Chantal passed, she literally asked us to taste the vanilla, and there was a Mexican vanilla. It tastes like fig, like fruit roll-ups. You know, like the kids thing, like the kind of fruited, It tastes like I was biting on it, and it would taste like that. Madagascar does not taste like that. Uganda neither. Just a certain type of vanilla in Mexico.
How many
because
different
there's
types?
various types of.
Right, there's different types in each country.
Even in a country, there's different and honestly, for real, I hope you will have I don't know, producer in Madagascar will just start to put some border just to set up their exact terroir in it, because I'm sure that vanilla from Madagascar doesn't taste the same thing in one village than another village and stuff like that. It's a bit like, and it's a little bit like wine and stuff like that. I find that
they don't say
vanilla.
When it say 20 francs, it's a blend of different things. So
when they say
what's going on with vanilla? Is it like separate varieties?
Yeah.
I guess so, because depending on the region and whatever, they don't do different stuff. But are they blending everything from the country and commercializing
But most of the vanilla commercialized, there's from the same type of vanilla in terms of just species.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of difference depending of many climate and altitude and stuff like that. So I hope that we'll have a little bit like coffee also.
That's what Noah just said. It sounds exactly like
now
coffee.
We have more information about if the type of coffee is on that type of soil at that type of
elevation.
height.
Yeah, elevation.
Yeah.
Right. So would there be So I'm huge. I don't know, and I talk about it often. I'm really big on third wave coffee, so I really love coffee beans, and I'm like only buy from local people. I'm very serious about it. So would there be like single origin vanilla type of thing, like as in like you've got
Chantal, like that should be the main like subject when you will interview Chantal. Like
I would
she is the supplier. She's the
yeah
only one who can provide us with that information because otherwise, where we buy from, they not get. It's not like oh, it's from Hector in that Mexican region. Like there's no like information. So are they blending all the vanilla together and
right.
what's the protocol? And I guess from a country from another it differs. And I have the
Honest,
feeling like because French are very good to exploit like for like fucking man what's the English word but like matière première. Anyways, it will come back.
original materials like the actual things that make it.
Like commodities. Did
Yeah,
we say that?
yeah, I guess so.
No, is it the proper word?
Yeah, that sounds about
Natural
like,
resources like
yeah, there you go. Meteoric premier. Yeah.
Madagascar is a old like it's still like a French like kind of region. So yeah, knowing them, they are like they kind of separate from region and kind of. So I have the feeling that there is probably like varieties and regions involved in like the vanilla industry. Like I have the feeling because obviously it's not sold in Africa; it's sold in Europe. So they have a
Mm,
way of, I guess, commercialize it or like having a kind of grade, different quality grade. I'm
mm.
just, I don't
No,
know. I don't
sounds
know.
right.
Chantal could have the best answer on that, honestly.
Yo, I mean that.
Isn't
But
there a
like,
shortage of vanilla too at this
I
point?
heard
Like,
that.
yeah, like
No,
it's
right
getting
now,
rarer and rarer.
no, right now because of the COVID crisis and like all the collapse for like hospitality industry, there's like the price of vanilla actually is better now than it was like for the last 2 years. But
Really?
yeah, the price dropped
Why is
and
that?
like by there's less demand for vanilla because of like
Oh, because
the
no one's baking anymore or whatever, like restaurant. So you
yeah
brewers,
big,
you're
big
getting your
yeah
vanilla.
That's
Makes
crazy.
sense.
yeah it's
All right,
weird it's weird
Street
basically
Stouts
because
win in COVID.
yeah that's the probably only like plus for COVID is the price of
Yeah,
vanilla because prices of a lot other increase like coconut. It just man, I love coconut, but coconut is now try to reach vanilla point for adjunct. It's the price of
really.
coconut just is skyrocket right now. Honestly, we this weekend we are working in a stout using only coconut, and it's a non-lactose stout, so
Boo.
we'll really yeah, but it's really interesting. Actually, I think it will be
Killer.
like a very interesting beer. Um, but we'll release the beer in the next couple of weeks. But I was like stunned by the price of the coconut
Mm.
because it will it's only coconut stout. We use different type of coconut. Some coconut is toasted. Other part is not toasted. There's different cut of it. But anyway, we use a shitload of coconuts. It's just so stupid.
Uh,
I was at the brewery this morning, and they were like, just kilos and kilos of coconut and delivery, and the production guys were like, "That's a real thing." I was like, "Yeah, it is true. We are doing like a stout with that amount of coconut." So basically, it's imagine a liter of stout,
Yeah.
but we are using in terms of process about like 300 gram of coconut per liter of stout.
About
So it
that.
just man, it's just stupid.
I
It's
need to try this.
just
I
stupid.
need to try it.
Yeah.
Please allow me to try it.
I didn't even care
I
if there's
would-
no lactose. I'm happy
Hey,
about it.
Yeah, I
and,
want all
and
of
honestly, like I told you the stout stuff, and I hope it is good because we'll release it in a couple of weeks, and at that point, it's just like we are working a shitload of coconut with the stout, and it will probably be good at the end, but we never know. So yeah,
That's
but
amazing.
the way I was thinking that stout is just like to create to to have like the most coconut stout
Of all time.
as possible. It's just like just to infuse the maximum coconut
The
taste
most
on a stout.
expensivest, but coconut wise, like
But it's not the most expensive stout we've made.
No
Like
vanilla.
no,
substance
I'm
is
just
more
talking in
is more
amount, like just the most, yeah, the most
it's just
coconut.
when I see Pure later like coming like close to the brewery, they are just bringing more boxes of coconut and boxes of coconut, and and I just and I just see like the guys doing the delivery is like, what
It's
are
not
they
What's
Hershey
happening?
Factory.
doing here? It's like the guy's just bringing like kilos and kilos and
He's
kilos
like, what is
and
happening
kilos
here?
of coconut to a fucking place who brew beer. If the guy's German,
He's like,
probably will probably have problems in the next couple of weeks. But I don't know. It's not against German people, but
it's like I said, pure
it's
evil.
just so weird. Sometimes we have people doing like delivery from like stuff like that, and they are you a restaurant? And we're like, no, yeah, we are a brewery and stuff like that, and they are like, why I'm bringing you like, I don't know, 200 kilos of puree of that fruit if you're bringing beers, like for those people, it's just like beers is like Coors Light and stuff like that. So we at least trying to have like some conversation with them about like beers can be something else than that stuff, but sometimes it's just weird. People are like, why I'm doing delivery of like 200 kilos of coconuts for a brewery? It's just weird. Just doing a delivery of 200 kilos of
especially
coconut
for one
for
beer.
like, yeah, for like just a guy who's doing like package delivery for per later, it's probably freaking weird at first, but especially like for a brewery, there was like, I don't know those people. They are just weird fellow. I don't know.
Yo, that's pretty sick because people don't know. It's
Speaking
it's
of delivery, like, oh, sorry.
no, I
Sorry,
wasn't
Ben.
saying anything of value. Please.
Like, speaking of delivery, it's a subject that's not necessarily related to beer, but I need to say about delivery. Like,
Get it off your chest, bro.
those guys, I have the feeling that they have like a kind of maybe citizenship, like kind of precarious or whatever. Like, no, but they got those guys are no, but those guys are taking a lot of risk, man. Like, we've seen deliveries, seriously. Like, I can't believe it's legal that they do that work. Not
What do
that the
you?
guys are not legal or not, just like they're taking a lot of risk. Like the trucks are not in good shapes, and
Right.
they are like delivering like very dangerous, like very heavy stuff, like very heavy stuff.
Oh,
And like
you mean
the delivery
trucker?
business is like a lot like immigrant forward. I would say like it's
Mm.
I can't be like I
Really?
talk to the guys. I'm like, seriously, guys, I don't get it. Like, it's not. It's dangerous. Like, I can.
Are you talking about
It's
like
not
the
normal.
coconuts and stuff?
Just
No.
delivery business in general,
In
like
period.
in
Yeah.
general. But like for
Yeah.
ops, sometimes, or it can be anything like of whatever we order. But like, man, it's we've seen like very
Sketchy.
dangerous stuff. I can't believe that the guys actually accept to do literally that. Like,
Yeah. I,
it's shocking, and it does not have nothing to do with our conversation, but I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's still like very
But
important to talk about it, like because they're some of our suppliers, like they
Yeah.
deliver bottles, ops, purees. Vanilla is easy to fucking ship because it's so expensive that you never get a skid. But I think whatever, it's just I don't want to do an hour over that, but I think it's like something that's worth mentioning.
Yeah. There's definitely some issues with certain jobs in society, and then they, it's often immigrants who be doing that type of stuff. People that have less opportunities. I never thought about it until I became an immigrant because I was always just used to being a citizen. Yeah, and then I moved here, and I was treated pretty shit a lot of the time. To be honest, I never felt so worthless coming here as a fucking white male in a patriarchy where white men have whatever the fuck they want. I never felt so worthless coming here as somebody from overseas and starting from scratch. It's a good point, Mark, because imagine a white male doing that, but imagine somebody from South America or from Africa coming over here with the racism and the
Man,
bullshit, and then they're going to be like, well, these are the shitty jobs that you can do. Fucking, you can deliver these heavy things and put your body at risk and be around these dangerous chemicals and stuff. Like it's pretty crazy when you really think about it. People in trying to move somewhere for new opportunities and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy that
but
people get treated like
in
that.
our business in our business we see it in transportation, actually. Like that's where it's more apparent, because unfortunately like the beer industry is very like Caucasian, like bourgeois, I would say, at a
yeah,
certain point, like oriented. Like it's not only that, but it's
definitely.
we're conscious of who is our clientele.
Yeah,
And but we still like there's a lot of education to about it, and like
yeah.
we are still like we're still like we can see like injustices like at a certain way, and
Mm.
that's they're
By
part
the
of our
way,
business, man. They deliver
yeah.
our stuff. Yeah.
So you want to make sure these people are supported and healthy and covered and stuff like that. On that note, though, one thing you guys did that I always wanted to tell you, you guys did the first Black is Beautiful beer in Quebec. So
I was gonna
thank
say.
you for that, which is fucking amazing. You didn't can it, I believe. I was told though. I didn't see it being canned. Is that right? It was like
Brewery only.
brewery only at that time when it was open for a little bit.
I don't know. Actually, we've made. It was weird because we've made the other half
All together.
all together first, and they
That was in
were
June.
like yeah, and they were like the Black is Beautiful stuff was like actually like it was in the news basically because like they were like the project of the beer from I just don't
Weathered
remember
Souls.
the name of
Weathered Souls.
whether it's all exactly who were like coming with a recipe and label and stuff like that, but they were like all the all the issue like in US with George Floyd and But it was not also in US. It was like it was also all across Canada and in Quebec about like all that issue of like um, relation with police
Police
and
brutality. Yeah.
exactly, and it was like for us it was hard to brew like the exact recipe of whatever it solves, but it was like it was mostly to do at least something and to take a stand about like all the news and all the situation like in US but also like in Quebec and Canada about police brutality, but also like all the race all the racism and all those issues um, around that. And yeah, to at least do something for us, it was in that case the only way to do it because we are not brewing a lot of stout during the summer because basically we are trying to do for now our stout program during the winter and to fill barrels and stuff like that. It was like the best way to brew it. It was like basically to brew a specific batch and do barrel at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So we only made a version available on tap, which is which was like in terms of dollar and stuff like that more interesting also because it was like very easy. We've take $1 per pour basically to give, and yeah, it was we decided to do it that way. But for us to like, I've worked almost like 20 years in hospitality like industry to do like the project with other half altogether. It was like a normal thing to do the project with um, to do the Black and Beautiful project. It was like was also a normal thing because at like I work with people uh, from Congo, from Senegal, from Ethiopia in restaurant, and it was like it is basically like the same people. So it was not something like different for me. It was like just
They're your
one
friend.
try to yeah, basically, and I was like I was having like people when they were like leaving restaurants at like 11 o'clock and stuff like that, and they were like police car arresting them and stuff like that. So it was like it was something I knew, and so for me it was like not very different than doing something with hospitality industry. They were basically the same people. They were like
Yeah.
people doing dishwash. They were like chefs. So it was basically the same thing at the end of the day. They were like people. They were like having problem with police, but there were also people. They were um, they were just outside like regular society and stuff like that. So I don't know. They were like just people I was working with them. So
So it
yeah,
made
for
sense.
us, it was like, and also it makes sense like today, but during like that point of the summer, they were like
Yeah, it was
there were
bad.
like a lot of those story in the news, and you have to, and it's it's simple at that point. You have to take a stand.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
if you put like the Black is Beautiful label in your cans or bottles or your tap room, depend of the way you're working, it just you at least are aware that like Black people doesn't they don't have the same right,
Yeah.
even if technically they have the same, but like it's not the
It's not
the same
reflected.
story, obviously.
No.
Yeah, at
I think
least you made that that statement that you acknowledge that,
Yeah. It's
and
important.
that's for me. That's the first step. After you can like give money to different causes and stuff like that, and that's another story.
Yeah.
But I
Mark.
think that, like, from my experience, like hospitality, there's a lot of people from minorities, I would say, that work in hospitality. A lot of them,
Yeah.
and like we can, it's very shameful. But like I would say that in some experience, working experience, there was like you can see that they're in certain hierarchy of like. Jobs that they have access in hospitality. It's very like it's very difficult to talk about it, but they're I've seen discrimination in hospitality, like especially
Yeah.
towards minorities, like special, like it's always, like it's not like regular terms, like it's like you never know from week to week, like it's very temporary always, but like it's the same people working for years and years, but they always have kind of like a temporary status
Mm.
towards their job, and it's kind of it's very heartbreaking. Like it's something we should talk about actually, and at least what's good with like altogether and the black light like oh fuck
Black is beautiful.
with the Black is Beautiful, as that we acknowledge that we need to put work into it. Like
Yeah.
there's something we need to do. Like like we people in hospitality are, they all, even when everything goes well, they are vulnerable. Like
Great point.
Yeah.
if the place is not working well, they're not making so. Yeah, that's a good thing about that movement. Like whatever. And yeah, in hospitality there's a lot of like people with special statuses, and yeah, people I would say that have low ranking jobs, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very special. Yeah, it's an interesting subject.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys did it. Quick question. Would you
Yeah.
do it again? Would you be able to do that beer again? Because we had Marcus from Weathered Souls on the podcast, and he said that it's an ongoing thing. So like while All Together was specifically in that May, June time period, Black is Beautiful can be done as often as you like. So would you guys consider doing it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you can
I
it?
think so. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
I think it's
Yeah, actually, if we are doing it again, we'll do it in a for sure bigger scale that we've done, because it
that'd
was
be great.
basically we and the way I will tell anyway, it's at that point in spring we had a batch of like stout, and we want to do something to raise those issue, and for sure it was like we just do something like really small. It was only at the tap room and stuff like that, and it's not because the like the purpose of Black is Beautiful was not like big. It was just because it was the way our like production schedule was. But for sure, we'll do it again, and when we'll do it again, we'll do it bigger than it was at the spring,
That's
because
awesome.
for sure it's like for us, it's not only something important. It's we want in general, and not only in terms of races and stuff like that. We want more diversity in beer industry. We want more women. We want
Yes.
people who identified in terms of like different gender more in the industry. We want more people from like different backgrounds and stuff like that. It will just bring more interesting perspective, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
we just want to do better. Like actually, like in our industry, our like common enemy is like Molson and Labatt. There's
Yeah.
like so many like market percentage on, or I don't know how to phrase it, but there's like so many share to just have for us that than it is right now. So it's not like we won't have those share with like people in their 30s who like speak French and are white. If we want more in craft beer industry, we'll need to have like people from different background, and we'll need like people from different from different like races, different gender, different speaking and stuff like that. And we need that now, because
Yeah.
for real, like beer industry, it's not like, it's weird, but it is not an industry was growing. It's an industry was declining. There's people are drinking less and less beer if you take per capita per year. So we need to have more people from different background for
Yeah,
sure.
man.
Yeah.
It's the only way for it to grow.
But we definitely need to integrate them in the workspace and the production and marketing and service. Like even the hospitality industry, they
Yeah.
usually there are like hidden like behind. They're not necessarily in like
Front of
sommelier or
house.
like front house or in sales in general. There definitely there's a like honestly like I had a discussion with Jacob today. Like he
Oh, he
passed
talked to you
the
about
day at the
everything.
brewery. So
Did he tell you about
yeah,
the
so yeah,
thing?
that's very what we're talking about. It's like totally like LinkedIn, like the project he's working with you
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
Craig,
yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah. I was gonna
so
say, I'd love to get
integrating
you
like
guys
the
involved.
minorities and definitely it's something where we'll get our like we'll participate to that. And
Sick.
like I very hope that we would have like minority, not necessarily like African descent or whatever, like
Just
just minorities
anybody.
that are
Yeah.
interesting in the beer industry. We'll give them like we'll do a kind of like apprenticeship or like just hire them for a certain time, like
I love it.
weeks or months or whatever. We're definitely down with that. It's something, and we're lucky actually in Gatineau. We have such a great like cultural diversity, so
Yeah,
hopefully
man.
it will be easy to attract like good kind of candidates in that program. So
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Honestly, man, I love to hear that. I think it's really cool. And being that you, Sankiem, and Sir John were the three breweries in Quebec that did Black is Beautiful in the first place, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. So I'm really happy to hear you say that. I think it's the only way that beer is going to grow in the world. there's enough bearded white guys in beer. If we don't get what
Oh,
you're
definitely,
saying,
yeah.
Gab, like we don't get different genders, different LGBT, different people from different backgrounds who aren't exposed, because beer is flavor. Flavor is everything. Every single human being is into flavor. So the beer industry has to reflect that, or it's fucking up. So I think we have to proactively do it, and I love that you guys are super down, and you guys were the
We're definitely.
first. So thank you.
We're down to participate to that kind of project. It will be our pleasure to. We definitely want that in our team, man. Definitely.
Yeah, and to be honest, we haven't done that much. Like if you consider that we opened like 3 years ago, we haven't done that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have like space to improve that aspect just in our like business practice.
Yeah,
Like it is good and it is fine to like consider that it is a good thing for the industry to have like more diversity and stuff like that, but we have to put words into action, and I think that being a brewery who have like now 3 years, who is now 3 years old, we can we can do more than we have done since the beginning.
Yeah,
we can accept those kind of mission. I would say that we have the stature to kind of like, okay, we'll be like godfathers to that cause, and let's put some energy in that.
I love it. Honestly, that makes me
amazing.
smile. That makes me genuinely smile. I think that's a beautiful thing. Thank you guys for all that you're down to do for that, and that you started off with the Black is Beautiful. So I feel like that's almost like a good way to wrap this up, being that we're drinking a stout.
Yeah.
We just talked about some positive shit. Honestly, boys, it's a fucking honor to have you guys on. It's been a long time coming.
Awesome.
I appreciate everything you guys have done for the province of Quebec and for the beer that you've pioneered, from the haze to the stouts, even the crispy. The aspiration was amazing. I just feel like you guys are doing some beautiful things. You're great fucking dudes. You're just pushing the movement forward in Quebec, and I appreciate you guys for that a lot. I wish we could have done this in person at the brewery, but we will do it eventually, and this is a great way to get it going, and we'll just try and check in regularly and do this shit, because you guys are growing so fast and doing so many amazing things that we're going to keep doing this. I love it, and I appreciate your time. This is great.
My pleasure.
No,
it was very,
amazing.
Very fun, man. Honestly, it was. I was not expecting that it would last that long, but it was a great conversation.
Did I tell you?
It was great.
Did I tell you?
It's not done yet. It's not done yet, but
it's not done yet.
So far it's pretty good. Yeah.
I was like, to be honest,
honestly.
Go.
No, go.
I was just looking at the clock because I was looking at Gab, and I was like, yo, last time we were talking, you were like, I go to bed at 9 p.m. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's nearly 1 o'clock. I'm like, but you're doing good. You're holding up, my bro. I'm proud of you. Sorry, Mark.
Me too, man. I don't know if you've seen me yawning a few times.
Yeah, no, I caught you. Sorry, Mark, what were you saying, bro?
No, I appreciate all the conversations so far we had, and we were able to talk race issues and just like half an hour on vanilla. We're gonna be judged for that. Like people are gonna but seriously, doing half an hour on vanilla, like who does that? Like Jello does not. Jello does not do half an hour on vanilla. Like we
didn't even scratch the surface either.
We're the first human, We're the first podcast to talk half an hour about vanilla. I have that feeling.
Yo, if you guys want to do a podcast with that lady and all four of us with her, I'm down. I'm fucking down.
Definitely, I'm down. I'm totally down.
No.
You down?
Craig, I'm fucking down to do a podcast with Chantal.
All right.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Let's
for sure.
Dad, I'm not joking.
We we got to get some pastry stouts to drink. Though,
Yeah, I was gonna say
during
if there's a bunch of beers, if there's a bunch of different beers with different types of vanilla that we can have to try it, and maybe even
that
some
would be
beans,
so amazing.
I would
That'd be so amazing.
Yo, say the word. We could schedule that anytime because that would be. I think the audience would be like, "This is fucking fascinating," because nobody's done a podcast on vanilla. I bet you there's no vanilla podcast. We're already done 30 minutes. Let's do 3 hours on vanilla. Watch us do that shit.
Chantal could do more than that. I'm pretty sure about it. She could do 3 hours, like on texture, just on the texture of vanilla. She could do 3 hours.
Honestly, it's got me like fascinated.
She will talk about fiber and touch, whatever. And I'm just joking, but yeah, definitely.
She probably could.
On suppliers, there's definitely a show about suppliers that is.
Yeah, man.
That would be cool for you guys.
Then let's talk, because I'd love to have even you guys like be there with us, because you guys would be the conduit to it and be able to explain it and talk about. She could talk about the product, and then you guys can talk about how you used it in your final product. So it's like the raw material plus the final product, and we could like compare the two and then get both sides of it. And I think that would be fascinating. Just because it's such an interesting thing, and like Noah was saying, you guys use it to the point where it actually dictates the texture of your beer and the way that your stouts are tasting. And if there's vanilla that's that important, I think that could be something that's a really unique episode. So let's get in that group chat about that. I think that would be dope. But for real, guys.
Yeah, sure.
Genuinely, thank you for your time. I'm so appreciative of you guys and the fact that you came and dropped off the beer and through all of this shit.
That was epic. Thank you.
I genuinely appreciate it. I appreciate you both. I think what you're doing for the scene is amazing. Let's Noah, start with you. Where can everybody find you online, bro?
I read a blog, and you can access it at beerism.ca. On Facebook, on Beerism, and on Instagram as well. So
it's beerism.ca on Instagram.
Yeah, but if they just search, they'll find it.
Maybe. You never just want to make sure, Gab and Marc, where can everybody find Brasserie du Bas-Canada online?
They can find us on Facebook, Instagram, you can find us like in the beer stores for 3 minutes.
For 3 minutes, if you're lucky.
On Shopify for 2.5. But you can find us at our brewery at 455 La Gap in Gatineau. We will have a second facility soon, or when we deliver sometimes in Montreal, or like North Shore, South Shore, or in Outaouais region. We have a couple of customers, but yeah, the best is to come and see us in person or to buy online on Shopify. Bas-Canada.beer, that's the best way of having all our products. It's on Bas-Canada.beer.
I love it. We need to take the thumbnail for YouTube real quick. So I'm gonna take a screenshot. I'm trying to hold the beer cans up. There we go. All right, here we go. Ready? Hold something up. There you go. There you go. Get the stout. There you fucking go.
Open?
Yeah. Oh, you sexy bastards. That is glorious. I love it. That is saved. Boys, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Guys, thank you for watching. If everyone enjoyed the episode, mate, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell. So you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast, and check out the long form audio so you can hear attractive motherfuckers like the three gentlemen right here talking about craft beer in Canada. Guys, stick around on the call at the end. We'll say goodbye. Appreciate y'all for watching and listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.